This one gets 144 views because it's the first one that pops up when everybody clicks on it. And you're like, wait a minute, this is not a show. That's why, because it's always the first one.
I think it's because now it's its own special, because it's always the same site.
This is from 10 months ago.
Yeah, that's when I started the other way to do the streaming, but I never could use it because of the computer. Like setting up the encoder and the key and the special.
I wonder why though it still just shows you. I mean, I wonder why it showed this image. It's interesting.
And that was from a while ago.
It said 10 months ago. But 10 months ago.
So go back to the page before.
Right here with iFiberone News Radio. What if I told you that radio advertising is far more effective than print media? Think about all of your customers driving to work, appointments, or events, all while listening to the radio. Imagine your commercial airs on iFiberone News Radio, and the customer decides, hey, I might buy this. I'm going to go check it out. Radio captures you and literally speaks to you and your customers several times a day. This enables you to build a unique message that reminds your customers what you have to offer. Remember, your customers.
Because you can't go back and see yesterday's full show.
And here at iFiberone News Radio, we want to direct customers to you. Being the only talk radio formatted station in the entire South region, we have an entire new market for your business to advertise in. As your sales lady, I take pride in providing your business with the best advertising because I want your business to succeed. So call me today at 360-463-2558 and ask for Kat.
Alex Jones and InfoWars on from 6 to 9 weekdays on iFiberone News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 103.3 KMAS Shelton.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. Waters continue to rise along with tensions in Florida, with South Texas flower plots were floating away.
The dates are all screwed
And
up.
we were standing watching to see if water was going to go into our
Must be
garage.
sorted
And
by.
of course, my lawn
This is
is
sorted by
very
date
pretty, and so I
added,
was
though.
out trying to protect my flowers and my lawn.
31 counties have been declared disaster areas 2 years after it had gone dry in some places. The Brazos River has now reached over 54 feet. One of the victims of yesterday's murder-suicide on campus at UCLA was a beloved
I
mechanical
realized this morning too that
engineering
we have been doing this for
There are reports that
5 months
students
now.
responded over grades. A new standoff is in progress in Northern California between a barricaded suspect accused of shooting 2 officers in separate shootouts yesterday and
Wisconsin. Or go online to pcfcu.org. At Peninsula Credit Union, our priority is you.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
A familiar name will be back on the football field this fall at North Mason High School. Legendary football coach Phil Pugh has come out of retirement to be the head coach of the Bulldogs once again. Pugh previously coached North Mason for 27 years, including a state championship in 1982. Seattle native and two-time Cy Young Award winner Tim Lincecum is back pitching in the Northwest. Lincecum signed with the Los Angeles Angels 2 weeks ago. He will make his first start for the Angels AAA affiliate tonight in Tacoma. First pitch for the Rainiers and Bees is set for 7:05 at Cheney Stadium. The Seattle Sounders scored 2 goals in the final 11 minutes on their way to a 2-0 victory over DC United. Jordan Morris scored in the 79th minute and Jovan Jones scored in the 83rd. The Sounders will look for their second road win in a row when they face off against the New York Red Bulls June 16th. James Paxton had a rough night as the Mariners fell to the San Diego Padres 14-6. Will Myers was 3 for 4 at the plate with a home run and 3 RBIs. The Mariners will look for a bounce-back win tonight with Wade Miley set to start. Pre-game is live on iFiberone News Radio at 5 p.m. First pitch at 6:10. For iFiberone News Radio, I'm Sean Wells.
Good morning. It's 6:10. I'm Carol Gardner along with Jeff Steichen, and you're listening to Daybreak. If you thought it was cold yesterday, it's going to be really cold today, a high of 65.
I got my flannel on this.
I know. And there's rain. Well, okay, it's light rain, but still, there was light rain this morning as I drove in, and there's light rain throughout the morning. But we get through today. We get past this high of 65. We move to tomorrow.
Okay.
And it looks like sunshine all out. 81 tomorrow, 88 Saturday, 95 Sunday. Continues into Monday, 85. And we'll have some more, a little in-depth on why we're getting this warm weather during the show later on.
Okay.
Right now it's 55.
That's hot.
Now, from the iFiberone News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Good morning. Carol Gardner along with Jeff Steichen, and you are listening to Daybreak. Good morning, Jeff.
Morning.
We've got a great and full show this morning. In about an hour, 7 o'clock hour, Mark Tobert from iFiberone News Radio and Ross McDowell from the Mason County Emergency Manager. They're gonna come in and they're gonna talk about this county, the Cascadia Rising exercise that's gonna be happening up at Sanderson Field.
So the people are showing up tomorrow, right?
Yeah, showing up tomorrow is what the port people said.
This is gonna be a good event, at least to think about having your pack ready.
Right. Exactly, your bug-out bag.
My bug-out bag. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked yesterday. Al Fry, he was in the earthquake in Japan.
Right.
And it was a great interview. You can watch it on the Daybreak page. And we talk about this all the time. Mm-hmm. And I don't have a bug-out bag.
I have a half bug-out bag.
I mean, does it have like a bottle of water that's half drinking?
No, the one thing it doesn't have is water, because I keep drinking the water. I keep thinking, I got to replace it because, that plastic bottle. So maybe you need to get a dedicated, good
You know what you need?
Bottle.
I got a bottle right here for you.
Yeah, it'd be like whining at me from the trunk. You haven't drinking water in years.
This water is old.
Yeah.
Because we talk about it every day, and we want people to make sure that they're prepared for when it happens. And there has to be a study. We always rip on the government for these weird studies. Mm-hmm. There has to be a study on how many times it takes for the seed to get planted. Mm. I mean, I've read that it takes 8 times to quit smoking.
Right.
How many times?
1,000 hours to become an expert.
1,000 hours to become an expert.
Well, I guess it won't really matter when the hits the fan.
Yeah, because you're either ready or you're not.
Yeah, that's right. You are ready or you are not. And if you have some common sense, that might help also. that might go a long way.
Maybe.
All right, so and also in the 7 o'clock hour, we have Mick Sprofska. He's from the Forest Festival. Forest Festival director, and he was on yesterday, and he's going to come in today, and he's going to talk about the logging show. Also, Ron Pinnell, he's the Grand Marshal of the Forest Festival, the Paul Bunyan Parade, and he's going to be on about 8:15. And then 8:45, we're going to have Julie Horowitz, Shellfish Policy Advisor to the Governor, and Bill Dewey from Taylor Shellfish. They're going to talk about the Washington Shellfish Week, which is this week through the 11th, or actually next week, June 4th. I'm ahead of myself. And then we're also going to have Jason Dose from the city, and he's going to talk a little bit about Sierra Pacific Industries. We also have Jeff Chu. He's going to give us a news report on the Shelton High School shooting team placing first in a national competition.
Wow.
And we also have some information on an E. coli outbreak. Washington health officials say 2 state residents have been sickened in an outbreak of E. coli. And that's connected to General Mills' recall of about 10 million pounds of flour. It's like, what are they going to do with all that? Department of Health spokeswoman said a person from Grant County and a person from Spokane County are among 38 people in 20 states with infections caused by a harmful strain of the E. coli between December 21st, 2015, and then May 3rd, 2016. Investigators told General Mills half the people who got sick reported eating homemade foods with flour, and including flour from General Mills, according to a company news release. And General Mills has recalled several brands of flour sold nationwide, but said no E. coli has been found in the products. And we have the link on our website store.
That's scary stuff, because I use the flour. I buy bags of 50-pound bags of flour at a time.
Yeah, gold medal.
I don't think it's whatever they sell at Costco. And I don't know if it's the gold medal brand, but I do this, and so I'll make pizzas or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And this is...
Well, for some reason, when you have E. coli in flour, it says if you bake it or cook with it, it
kills it.
Kills it.
Okay.
So that's one good thing to know. So
who are the people...
Don't eat raw cookie dough.
Oh, no.
That's so delicious.
How do you not eat raw
I
cookie
know.
dough?
I know. Well, they've been warning that for years, but that used to be about the eggs warning.
Yeah.
Now the flour.
So are these like no-bake cookies?
You usually don't have flour, no-bake cookies.
So what are people eating that's raw flour? Or are they just eating raw flour?
I don't know. Maybe they're flies up in their face.
Oh, that's a good point.
I don't know. It's a good question, but if you have bought flour between December 21st, 2015 and May 3rd, go check out the General Mills website, and they have a list of all their products that they sold. And also, you can probably go to the CDC, and they have a list of all these kind of food recalls.
But the other thing is, if you're a baker and you have flour, you're going to go through with this. You may have already thrown the bags away. The people that may have already gotten sick. You lost a bunch of friends.
It's so crazy how often we can get sick from this E. coli.
There's that story about the superbug, and it was like super resistant.
Yeah, that's
from New Jersey or something like that.
Yeah, that was a in-depth story. We didn't get too much into it, but I'm probably
because we use our anti-bac lotions and whatnot,
exactly.
and so the superbugs are building up strains, and
they're just like one defense left is what they
well, no, this
say.
one that I saw that it was the last line of defense they used, and it wouldn't even kill it then. I was a little nervous about all that stuff.
Well, just got to keep your immune system, if you can, keep your immune system strong.
616 iFiber1 News Radio. Jeff Chu has a report for us in a couple of moments. We'll also head down that road to the White House. Just want to let you know about some events that are also coming up. Tonight, the Shelton School District wants you to attend a open community forum from 6 to 7 at the Olympic Middle School Commons. It's grade level configuration, and this has impacts for a generation, if not more. I mean, they're thinking about completely changing the grade level configurations. How it currently goes may be changed into a 4-school system, K4, 5 and 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 12. But who knows? And that's why you need to show up tonight, 6 to 7, the Olympic Middle School Commons. Additionally, Carol, I've got the EDC is having their next roundtable. It's at the Eleanor Room today from 9 to 11:30. The EDC and the community identified 7 industries that they want to see grown and supported, healthcare being among them, and they've moved to the next step in the strategic planning process, bringing together industry leaders to build an in-depth analysis of strengths and weaknesses and threats and opportunities. Little SWAT training there within the industry to support growth for our companies. The next meeting again today at the Eleanor Room from 9 to 11:30.
And we did say something about the weather. What's happening, it's a strong, warm ridge of high pressure that's building into the area from the southeast. And that's going to start tomorrow morning. And it's going to give the potential for the hottest temperature so far this year in interior western Washington from about Everett south. So we're definitely going to be hit. And sensitive groups such as the elderly and those with existing health concerns, may experience impacts from heat. And a couple of warnings: don't leave your dogs or your kids in your car, even if you think it's going to be just a minute.
I saw a picture on Facebook of someone around town that had done that, and the poster put a picture of the dog and the car with their license plate number.
Yeah.
Probably a step ahead of beyond what I would do.
Yeah, but it's awareness. It's people.
You gotta be aware.
You think you're going to be a minute, and then you're like standing in line somewhere, and it's like 10 minutes, and then you're like, oh no, no, do not be that person. And also, you might be tempted to go into the water.
Yeah,
the water is still really cold, so be careful on that also.
I was just talking to Sheriff Casey Salisbury yesterday about our next big interview with him coming up Monday, and that's one of the things that we want to keep hitting home. The waters are still cold. The kids are out of school, and they're excited, and they're going to want to go do stuff during the day. And if you jump in these bodies of water, rivers, streams, lakes, whatever, they're still really cold.
Yeah.
6:19 at iFiber One News Radio, and we'll be right back after this Road to the White House.
Road to the White House.
He is trying to scam America the way he scammed all those people at Trump U.
Hillary Clinton in Newark, New Jersey, which holds its primary next Tuesday. The now defunct Trump University, the subject of a lawsuit. Court documents providing insight into the school's sales pitches to prospective students. The Trump campaign put out a video defending the school, including testimonials from former students. Mrs. Clinton heading for California, which also holds its primary next Tuesday. Donald Trump is already there and on the attack in Sacramento.
She's one of the worst secretaries of state in the history of our country. Now she wants to be our president. Look, I'll be honest. She has no natural talent to be president. This is not a president.
Bernie Sanders is also in California, but Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid says it's time for Sanders to face reality. Next week's primary is expected to propel Mrs. Clinton to the Democratic nomination. Richard Cantu, ABC News.
This is a good time to subscribe to the Journal. Most importantly, you get a great local newspaper. We were voted the best mid-sized weekly newspaper in the state, which helps you stay connected to your community. And then there is the fact that subscription rates remain low while individual paper prices are increasing for 2016. You can save as much as $40 this year with your subscription. Quality, convenience, and low price. The Journal gives you all that every week. Call 426-4412 or go to masoncounty.com.
6:20, iFiber One News Radio. Good morning to you, Jeff and Carol, on a Thursday morning. And, well, the carnival was getting up and ready. That's going to be opening today. You had your opportunities up until yesterday to get a good deal on some wristbands. That you can still buy them up at the carnival site, and it's going to be a lot of fun for Forest Festival this weekend. We're talking all about it through the rest of the show with some big guests here.
Big players.
Big players in the Forest Festival game. That's exactly right. 6:21 now, and Jeff Chu files a report for us from the national champion shooting team.
Parade. I just like shooting. Like being able to pull a trigger and put a hole through papers. It's fun.
That's Marissa Newby, Shelton High School's top shooter on the shooting team. She helped the team win nationals. The team in March competed at home with each shooter firing 30 rounds at Mason County Sportsman's Association range. Alan Bragg, Shelton High School shooting team head coach and on the board for Mason County Sportsman's Association, says he was pleasantly surprised when the national results came in.
I figured maybe second, maybe probably third, And when I got the notification in the mail that they came in first nationwide, on this post, and this postal's been running for 9 years at that point. We got first place, and they were just ecstatic about it.
The competition took place out of the Stockbridge, Georgia postal match. Frank's program has grown in the years he has been with it from 8 to 18 today.
Well, this program is everything is involved in the Olympics. You got people that's shooting this in the Olympics and stuff like that. And again, the Olympics, you take a look at the shooting program out there. There are 10 events that are strictly for precision shooting.
Bill Ziegler, who volunteered to coach the team, says he had little experience as a firearms instructor, but he took an online course in civilian marksmanship that qualified him. He explained what is taught to students.
One of the safety aspect of the course is a lot of specifics that we go over constantly. And the kids, learn by experience with us and learn from being around other kids who are older who practice safe practices. Second, I think, from my perspective, kids learn discipline from the shooting skills. They learn things that are very common to shooting of all kinds of firearms. For example, breathing, finger control, eye focusing.
Frank talked about the gun range located at the Port of Shelton's Industrial Park.
This is the facility that we have here. Mason County sportsmen donate the time and the days for the kids to shoot. We shoot up here Monday through Thursday because I work with the school schedule because Fridays, or sometimes it's going on in school, so I decided to do Tuesday through Thursday. And they're out here shooting 22 rifles and gallery air rifle.
Newbie is a Shelton senior involved in far more than the shooting team at high school.
I'm in the marching band, I'm on the drill team, I do color guard for our ROTC, and I do this.
Her teammates, Riley Peters and Anthony Fosher, also talked about their love of shooting.
I try to keep the bullets so that they're about a piece width together, like at most speed, that's sort of, it's okay going away from each other. And then after that, we start cycling them in and shooting straight.
It's the feeling of that we all work together to get the achievable that win.
You can say the students on the Shelton High School shooting team are getting a real bang out of what they do here at the Mason County Sportsmen's Association range. I'm Jeff Chu for iFiberone News.
624. Thank you, Jeff Chu, for that report that he filed on the high school shooting team. It's pretty impressive. They've got kids involved and female lead.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
Is that weird? 2016, so.
I don't think it's weird. Maybe it was weird. Well, I don't know. There's always been some really good female shooters in history.
Annie Oakley.
Yeah.
That's her go-to one, I think.
Yeah, okay. State officials will be running a 2-day active threat readiness drill at the Capitol campus in Olympia. The Washington State Patrol and Department of Enterprise Services says the exercise will take place tomorrow and Saturday. And officials say there will be an increase in law enforcement and fire personnel on the campus, and that several groups of first responders are going to be taking tours of several of the buildings. Most of the activities will occur Saturday when about 200 law enforcement officers, firefighters, and medical units will be at the Capitol campus. Officials say there's no known specific threats to the Capitol, and the training is to improve preparedness and coordination, just like we were talking about. You sort of get into that muscle memory of being prepared, and then you sort of have an idea what you're going to do, even if you haven't fully finished packing your bug-out bag. You have an idea in your mind.
And then there's got to be at a point where it's over-infoed.
Over-infoed.
I mean, I kind of think about fire drills in school. It's important to know these fire drills, but at a certain point, the fire drill, I mean, you look around on the play field where everybody gathers in their little classrooms, and they're not, and I remember doing this too, listening for instruction, or you just go out there, and then as soon as you're outside, you're horsing around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do, but at the same time, I mean, because people don't take things very seriously.
So do you have to have an event? You do all this training, an event never comes, or you do this training and then the event happens and then you're good to go, and your mindset's changed.
The leadership of the people holding the event that would instill how important it is. And if you have a respect for that person, you will think, okay, this is something I really need to pay attention to.
Okay.
It's just my humble opinion.
627, iFiber One News Radio. Mary Lynn Foster has headlines for us in a few minutes here. Some service changes are going into effect for Mason Transit customers on Monday. Additionally, Forest Festival Parade will likely impact arrival times for the buses. So just be patient here over the weekend, the whole weekend, because it's going to be busy. And the Olympic National Park is urging boaters to stay away from a section of the river at the Elwha, where the dam used to be, and even a little down from that, because, you know, they blew the whole dam up. Right. And there's rubble, debris, rebar, and people are up thinking about going to float the Elwha.
Right.
Watch out for that stuff. It's in the water.
Exactly. It's pretty dangerous. There's a story on our website about it also.
Going to be really hot after today. I was surprised last night it started raining, at least in West Olympia.
Yeah, well, I wasn't maybe surprised.
I was surprised at the heaviness of the rain.
Yeah, I guess so, because I knew it was going to not be as nice, but
65 today. We're looking at 95 by Sunday. It's going to be 80 tomorrow. Oh, and for a fun day today, we like to have, you know, today is blank. Today is leave work early day.
That's right.
So if you need a note, come by, we'll sign it. 629 at iFiber One News Radio.
ABC Entertainment News. Here's Jason Nathanson.
One of music's biggest power couples has called it quits.
I go on too many dates, but I can't make them stay.
Taylor Swift and superstar DJ producer Calvin Harris are no longer together. They've been dating a little over a year. As for what happened, we'll probably find out when she releases her next album. A director who recently slammed actress Keira Knightley has apologized.
I think everything's changed.
Begin Again director John Carney trashed his star in a recent interview, saying the Oscar nominee lacked honesty and self-analysis in her acting, and referring to her said he never wanted to work with supermodels again. Many rushed to her defense, and Carney took a lot of heat. Now he tweets that he's a complete idiot. He's ashamed he said such mean and hurtful things, and there's no justification for it. Looks like we have a frontrunner to play Captain Marvel.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Oscar winner Brie Larson is in talks to play one of Marvel's top female superheroes, according to Variety. The film's due out in 2019. I'm Jason Nathanson.
Cool giveaways in June at the Lucky Dog Casino. Select Saturdays, a chance to win a cruise for two to Alaska. Select Sundays, $100 hot seat drawings every 10 minutes. At the North Fork Grill, it's T-Bone Thursdays, prime rib Saturdays, and steak and shrimp scampi on Sundays. The outdoor summer movie series begins. Go to myluckydogcasino.com for details. Minutes north of Shelton on Highway 101, the Lucky Dog Casino.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
From the iFiber One News Radio studios, I'm Mary Lynn Foster. There's some service changes that will go into effect on Monday for Mason Transit customers. Route 5 and Route 7, which are the local loops in the Shelton area, are being rerouted to better serve customers. The biggest impact is for Route 4, which is the Belfair local. MTA has removed the Belfair post office as a time point. It's now a call request stop, meaning riders can request this as a deviation by calling the customer service center 2 hours ahead of schedule. Visit masontransit.org and click on Rider Alerts for full details. The Forest Festival Parade on Saturday could have an impact on bus arrival times. Christina Fremont with MTA told Daybreak about that.
So during the parade that we'll be in, the Transit Community Center is closed as a bus stop.
Okay.
Because that's the parade route.
Big stage.
Hey, you can go over there and sit on the sidewalk and watch the parade from the Transit Community Center. Get there early. People like to set up their chairs right away. So our bus stop for folks that are using the service is just going to be one block over on Cedar in front of Safeway. So same thing. All the buses, none of the times are changing, other than they might be impacted slightly just because of heavier traffic coming into town due to the events.
In addition, all of Mason Transit's routes are rerouted off of Railroad and just one block over. Watch for Christina handing out candy during the parade on Saturday. The theme of the 72nd Annual Forest Festival is We Are Timber Strong. The event is capped by the June 4th Paul Bunyan Grand Parade through downtown Shelton. Many other Forest Festival activities are scheduled today through Sunday. For more information, see masoncountyforestfestival.org or visit the Forest Festival Facebook page, facebook.com/Mason County Forest Festival.
Olympic National Park staff is urging all boaters to stay away from the section of river that flows through the former Elwha Dam site. The site is located between U.S. Highway 101 and State Highway 112 outside of the Olympic National Park boundary. Remnants of the dam's foundation remain in that area of the river and include long pieces of rebar and other metal shards that extend close to the water surface. Boulders and swift currents in the area compound the risks, and boaters are urged to avoid this section of the river. Olympic National Park Superintendent Sarah Creechbaum says the risk of snagging a boat on the remaining metal is high and presents a very real danger to boaters and swimmers. The park is working with the Army Corps of Engineers to develop a plan for removing the metal during this summer's low river flows. Until then, boaters, tubers, and swimmers are urged to avoid this section of river through the old Elwha Dam site. For iFiber1 News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
Hi, I'm Ken Slater, the Roof Doctor. If you're like me, your family's important, so make sure that they're well taken care of. One of the best ways to do that is to provide a safe and warm home to live in. For over 50 years, the Roof Doctor has been helping families stay safe and warm by building roofs that last for generations. Our teams have some of the most experienced roofers in the area, and we only use the highest quality materials to keep your family safe, warm, and dry. That's the Roof Doctor. Give us a call.
Penguins take control. Hi, everybody. I'm Brian Clark reporting on sports. The Pittsburgh Penguins had a 1-0 series lead over the San Jose Sharks in the Stanley Cup final and led 1-0 in Game 2 thanks to a Phil Kessel goal in the second period. But San Jose's Justin Braun found the back of the net for the first time in the playoffs late in the third to tie the game and send it to overtime. In OT, it was a Penguins rookie who stole the show.
Here's Letang after the faceoff, and the Penguins have it. Goes over down, a quick shot forward, and Sheary with a goal. He wins it for the Penguins. Connor Sheary from the left wing circle side shoots it in right by Jones, and the Penguins have won it.
Mike Lang on the Penguins radio network. Connor Sheary's fourth goal of the playoffs gave the Penguins a 2-1 victory and a 2-0 series lead in the Stanley Cup final. Game 3 on Saturday at 8 Eastern in San Jose. On the diamond, another big night for Mookie Betts.
Mike Wright ready. Here's the windup, the 3-2 pitch. And he swings it. It's a high drive to left. This is deep. Kim back to the wall. Looking up. Jumps. Home run. He did it again.
Joe Castiglione with the call on WEEI. Betts has 5 home runs in the past 2 games and became the first player in MLB history to hit home runs in the first and second innings on back-to-back nights. The Red Sox actually hit 5 home runs as a team, but ended up falling to the Baltimore Orioles 13-9. On the course, the PGA Tour announced that the World Golf Championship event held at Trump National Doral, Miami, will move to Mexico City beginning next year. ABC's Brad Milkey with more.
The Trump National Doral Golf Course has hosted a star-studded PGA tournament for the last 54 years. Scott is 2 for 2 in Florida. But the event's outgoing chairman tells the Miami Herald it's moving to Mexico City. The tournament was unable to find a sponsor after Cadillac decided not to renew its contract. The company and the PGA itself have distanced themselves from Trump since he launched his campaign with remarks about Mexican immigrants. Trump criticized the move, saying, quote, "I hope they have kidnapping insurance."
Brian Clark, ABC Sports.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
A familiar name will be back on the football field this fall at North Mason High School. Legendary football coach Phil Pugh has come out of retirement to be the head coach of the Bulldogs once again. Pugh previously coached North Mason for 27 years, including a state championship in 1982. Seattle native and 2-time Cy Young Award winner Tim Lincecum is back pitching in the Northwest. Lincecum signed with the Los Angeles Angels 2 weeks ago. He will make his first start for the Angels AAA affiliate tonight in Tacoma. First pitch for the Rainiers and Bees is set for 7:05 at Cheney Stadium. The Seattle Sounders scored 2 goals in the final 11 minutes on their way to a 2-0 victory over DC United. Jordan Morris scored in the 79th minute and Jovan Jones scored in the 83rd. The Sounders will look for their second road win in a row when they face off against the New York Red Bulls June 16th. James Paxton had a rough night as the Mariners fell to the San Diego Padres 14-6. Will Myers was 3 for 4 at the plate with a home run and 3 RBIs. The Mariners will look for a bounce-back win tonight with Wade Miley set to start. Pre-game is live on iFiberone News Radio at 5 p.m. First pitch at 6:10. For iFiberone News Radio, I'm Sean Wells.
6:37, iFiber1 News Radio. Good morning to you. Daybreak. 55 overcast now, maybe a little bit of rain near noon, but not really any kind of total accumulation. Tomorrow, 81, 88 on Saturday, 95 on Sunday. Again, right now, it's 55.
Now, from the iFiber1 News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
6:37 here, iFiber1 News Radio. Coming up in just a couple of moments, we're going to talk about last night's Most Inspired Students Award. Dale and Jerry were there last night, and they were talking and enjoying and talking about the most inspired students. So we'll get her on in just a couple of moments. Also coming up today, Ross McDowell, Mason County Emergency Manager, talking about the Cascadia Rising exercise. Mick Sprowski, the Forest Festival President's Association President, will be in to talk about the logging show, and more great guests throughout the rest of the show. The Grand Marshal for the Forest Fest Parade, and then also that's Ron Pinnell, and then Julie Horowitz and Bill Dewey scheduled to come on today to talk about Washington Shellfish Week. And finally, from the city of Shelton, for our focus on Shelton, Jason Dose will be here speaking on Sierra Pacific Industries. 8:38 right now, and again, a really big warm weekend here with Forest Festival coming upon us. Colder today in the sense that it's the mid-60s, but it's going to be up into the 90s over the weekend. Additionally, we're letting people know about an E. coli outbreak that Washington health officials say about 2 state residents have been sickened in an E. coli outbreak connected to General Mills's recall of about 10 million pounds of flour. Carol brought up a good point last segment. What do you do with all that?
Flour. Yeah.
What do you do with all that flour? 10 million pounds of it. Department of Health spokeswoman says a person from Grant County and a person from Spokane County, among 38 people in 20 states with infections caused by a harmful strain of E. coli towards the end of last year and May 3rd of this year. Investigators told General Mills half the people got sick reported eating homemade foods with the flour, including flour from General Mills. 6:40 at iFiber1 News Radio.
The EDC and the community has identified 7 industries they want to see grown and supported, healthcare being among them, and they're moving to the next step in their strategic planning process and are bringing together industry leaders to build an in-depth analysis of strengths, weaknesses, threats, and opportunities within this industry to support growth for the companies. And the next meeting is today at the Mason General Hospital's Eleanor Room from 9 to 11:30. And also, the Shelton School District Superintendent Alex Apostle is inviting parents and members of the community to an open community forum. It's scheduled for tonight from 6 to 7 in the Olympic Middle School Commons. And the topic of the community forum is going to be grade level configuration. It's 6:40.
Road to the White House.
He is trying to scam America the way he scammed all those people at Trump U.
Hillary Clinton in Newark, New Jersey, which holds its primary next Tuesday. The now defunct Trump University, the subject of a lawsuit. Court documents providing insight into the school's sales pitches to prospective students. The Trump campaign put out a video defending the school, including testimonials from former students. Mrs. Clinton heading for California, which also holds its primary next Tuesday. Donald Trump is already there and on the attack in Sacramento.
She's one of the worst secretaries of state in the history of our country. Now she wants to be our president. Look, I'll be honest. She has no natural talent to be president. This is not a president.
Bernie Sanders is also in California, but Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid says it's time for Sanders to face reality. Next week's primary is expected to propel Mrs. Clinton to the Democratic nomination. Richard Cantu, ABC News.
Good morning to you, 641 iFiber1 News Radio, and it is Daybreak with Jeff and Carol, and we have in studio a special guest this morning. If I can get, well, her name placard doesn't need to come up because we're talking radio this morning, and Jerry Eckenrode. Good morning to you. How you doing?
Good morning, kids. How you?
Well, we're doing good on this great weekend coming up here. We've got Forest Festival coming up. It's always a great time. Tons of people come into town, and We love it. Last night you were at the high school cafeteria, right?
Correct.
What was that for?
Well, that was for the most inspiring student award ceremony, the first one. And for the first one, they had a great turnout of family, friends, and students being recognized. The entire school board, Dr. Apostle, most of Dr. Apostle's staff, administrative staff who put it on, and then there were members from Graduation Matters and the community that had been involved in this wasn't a Graduation Matters function, it was a function of the schools to recognize those inspiring students. The event was sponsored by Graduation Matters and iFiberone. And the purpose of the event was to give each of the principals of the schools an opportunity to identify the top 5 kids, students in their school who were most inspiring to not only the students but to the staff themselves. In fact, in some situations, especially in the high schools, there were things that the kids had done to challenge the values and thinking of the staff.
Whoa.
So, yeah, so it was pretty powerful. It was opened with a very nice dinner, and then Dr. Apostle started the ceremony with, I have a dream. I told him, I says, we have to get you and Martin Luther King together now. I have a dream type thing. But he spoke to the importance of those who are inspired and take on the challenges. And the special thing about this is these are not, gifted children. These aren't children that have had everything set out for them, but kids and people who have met the challenges and have also inspired others to take on a challenge and meet it. So Dr. Apostle spoke of that. Linda Arnold, she was a master of ceremonies and gave adequate challenges to Dr. Apostle. There was a guest speaker. His name was Mr. Tom Lowell. He was a graduate, and I don't know that I wrote down the year. I think it was 1965. And he was well recognized because he holds several records in track and field and football and whatnot that are still standing today. And he made several national levels that are still holding.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He spoke of, inspiration, and he said his most inspiring person came from his, I believe it was 4th grade teacher. And not at school. This teacher was not his teacher in school. It was a neighbor in the same apartment building, and he helped her carry her groceries up and whatnot, and helped her move in. And she realized when moving in, she says, "Give me the box marked kitchen." And he kind of looked, puzzled and whatnot, and well, which one's that? And she realized that he couldn't read.
Oh.
And so she worked with him, taught him to read, and he did the heavy lifting. And it was really an emotional time for him. So great story, and, just a great example of how some things that are really insignificant to us make a huge difference to someone's life. And that was really, the setting. So, then each of the awards were presented, and we'll put a listing of all the students, because I wouldn't dare go through their names. I'd really murder them. But each school, each principal spoke of the children, and not individually, but as a group, and they spoke of the characteristics of those children. So it was really, really very good, and Dr. Apostle is looking forward to next year. And I mean, the whole sub was better than 3/4 full.
Wow.
And the band, the high school band, had music outside and music inside. They did a great job. it was really, really nice. And the people were encouraged not to be quiet, silence your phone, but don't put it away, as people were taking pictures and whatnot. It was really very, very nice. It was non-political. It was total recognition of the kids.
Great. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was. It was really good, and the kids felt so good about themselves, and that was noticeable. So, and then they put them all together as part of the process was to line them up on some steps, and then there was all of the children that had been recognized in one area, and so there was lots of snapshots there. Dale got a few pictures, so we'll put a few pictures on the website. I'll try to write up a little bit and to post on the website. We didn't make a huge deal out of this, but it was a huge deal.
Sure.
And that's kind of, the significance, of the event is the fact that those people that are inspiring typically don't go out just to seek recognition.
Well, maybe next year we'll move from the cafeteria to the Performing Arts Center, and maybe from there to the basketball stadium, and who knows what's next.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe we'll have lots of those inspiring
That's
people.
Great.
And and it's great that someone as inspiring as Apostle has been to the school district recognizes that it's not him alone.
Yeah.
So it was a good deal.
We'll talk to Dr. Alex Apostle tomorrow, Fridays at 8:15 here on iFiber1 News Radio. Thanks, Jerry.
You bet. Thank you.
6:49.
ABC Entertainment News. Here's Jason Nathanson.
One of music's biggest power couples has called it quits.
I go on too many dates, but I can't make them stay.
Taylor Swift and superstar DJ producer Calvin Harris are no longer together. They've been dating a little over a year. As for what happened, we'll probably find out when she releases her next album. A director who recently slammed actress Keira Knightley has apologized.
I think everything's changed.
Begin Again director John Carney trashed his star in a recent interview, saying the Oscar nominee lacked honesty and self-analysis in her acting, and referring to her said he never wanted to work with supermodels again. Many rushed to her defense, and Carney took a lot of heat. Now he tweets that he's a complete idiot. He's ashamed he said such mean and hurtful things, and there's no justification for it. Looks like we have a front-runner to play Captain Marvel.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Oscar winner Brie Larson is in talks to play one of Marvel's top female superheroes, according to Variety. The film's due out in 2019. I'm Jason Nathanson.
If you care about what's going on around here, subscribe to the Shelton Mason County Journal. You will learn something useful about your neighborhood, upcoming events, your community, and coworkers. Laugh at the comics. Cry with the obituaries. Learn about local concerts, games, and new businesses. Being informed is worth it in so many ways. Subscribe today. Call 360-426-4412 or visit masoncounty.com. Check out the Journal's garage sales, too. Try it. You'll love it.
This is Craig. He's keeping cool this summer with over 30 drinks at McDonald's, like McCafe smoothies or frappes for $2, and that's a good decision. Now, trying to mountain bike down a hill while carrying all 30 of those drinks, not so much. It's okay, Craig. Your favorite small McCafe drinks like a caramel frappe and frozen strawberry lemonade are $2 at McDonald's, and McCafe brewed coffee or soft drinks are only $1. Price and participation may vary.
Welcome to McDonald's. May I take your order?
To begin, let me say I look forward to our brief encounter.
Me too.
The search for great value led me to you. When I mix and match, great value will be mine. And to that you say...
What would you like?
Yes!
McPick 2 of your delicious favorites for $5, like an Egg McMuffin, Big Mac, or a filet of fish. It's great value morning, noon, and night. At participating McDonald's, price and participation may vary.
Join the fun and win big in June during Lucky Eagle Casino's 21st anniversary.
Play the daily kiosk game and win up to $21,000 in cash.
And be in the house for huge free play drawings every Friday at 9 p.m.
Then on June 24th, one lucky guest will win $21,000 in cash, and we'll have bonus drawings from 9:30 to 11.
It all adds up to great times and big winners. Over $118,000 in total prizes.
Lucky Eagle Casino and Hotel, I-5 to exit 88, Rochester, Washington.
Strawberries, drive-ins, and going barefoot. They're all worth celebrating this month. We'll get it started with our June preview from the Old Farmer's Almanac. With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac radio report for Wednesday, June 1st, the 153rd day of the year. Actress Norma Jean Mortensen was born on this day in 1926. We would come to know her, of course, as Marilyn Monroe. Our 6th month is named after Juno, the Roman goddess of marriage. We'll celebrate fathers and the American flag this month. Strawberries will begin to ripen, and we'll enjoy the longest day of the year on the summer solstice. And June has some of our favorite lesser-known observances, like Say Something Nice Day and National Drive-In Movie Day. If you feel like kicking off your shoes and dancing a polka, go for it. June is Accordion Awareness Month, and today is National Go Barefoot Day. And that is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Learn more about the month of June at almanac.com.
652 iFiber1 News Radio. Good morning to you. Jeff and Carol here, and we've been talking a lot about some great events that are happening over the next couple days here in the South Sound. Tonight, there's a big meeting at Olympic Middle School to talk about grade school level configurations, as that is a topic of conversation coming up. Additionally, Carol, isn't today the day for... There's a big event happening. That's right, the Big Creek Campground is reopening today. U.S. Forest Service and Tacoma Power hosting a grand reopening celebration at the Big Creek Campground here in Mason County at 10 o'clock today. Open to the public. It's been closed for 3 years while work was put to make improvements of doubling the number of sites, adding power and water access, walking trails, fire rings, larger RV parking spaces, and a whole lot more. It's going to be up near the Lake Cushman area. Today, the Big Creek Campground grand reopening, and that's coming up at 10 o'clock.
That's right, and also there's 2 free days in June for state parks, and that's going to be June 4th and June 11th.
Saturday.
Yeah, just Saturday, and so you don't need to discover. There's so much to do this weekend. It's crazy.
lot
It's the
to
Forest
do.
Festival, free day of the park. You could go to that celebration today. You could go to the fishing derby on Sunday. I mean, there is a lot of stuff to do. So the June 4th is National Get Outdoors Day, and then June 11th is June 4th is National Trails Day, June 11th, National Get Outdoors Day.
Okay.
So there is a lot to do, so you don't sit there and stare at your computer all weekend.
Oof, and that is just a killer. I have this Flux app that I've added to the desktops, and it takes the blue away from the screen to so more of an amber glow. They've added it to iPhones in the most recent update. I think Android's had it for a while, but eye strain at the end of the day, we're so computer heavy now. It is hard to shut down and then have enough time to relax and stuff by the end of the night before it's time for bed.
Most people's lives revolve around staring at a screen.
Some sort of screen.
Yeah, some sort of screen. It always sort of cracks me up when I'm like on my phone reading, using my computer, and my cat's always like sort of looking at me like, why are you always looking at that machine? I mean, and it just sort of brings you back to like, why do you stare at the machine so much? But, we do it for work all morning long. We stare at the computer. You go home, you stare at your TV or your laptop, and you're reading on your screens, and it's the light. And so one thing that people complain about it a lot, and it's a true thing, and there's the computer vision syndrome. 70 million workers are at risk for this, and some people have burning. Their eyes actually burn. Some people it's just more of a dry eye syndrome. Some people you just feel like your eyes a bruisey feeling.
Is this because you're not blinking, or what's the deal?
Yeah, some of it is your eye isn't blinking, but what they've found out is because if you read like a book, on printed paper, you don't get as much eye strain because the print is like crisp, and when you look at a computer screen, it's still mostly pixelated. So your eyes cannot adjust correctly. So they're constantly adjusting and looking towards like the white area of your screen, and then back to the letters and white. I mean, it's automatically happening within your eye, but it's
got to be so tiny, because when I look at text written, it looks to me, as my mind is processing it, as it's the same text. But you're saying because it's printed, it's got clear borders.
Defined borders, yes. And then the ones on the computer, they're
So if you zoom
pixelated.
in all the way, it's not straight lines.
Yeah, so your eye is constantly focusing.
Wow.
And also you do blink less when you're staring at your computer screen. About 17 blinks or more a minute if your normal blink rate, only about 12 to 15 if you're staring at a computer.
Man, yesterday I had something in my eye. Tell you what, I couldn't even, it was in the evening, it just showed up. I'm sure it was dirt or sand or something. I washed my eye out. I put a ton of saline in my eye. I put a bunch of Visine in my eye. And nothing was working. By the end of the night, I just had to drop, keep my eyes closed.
You probably scratched your eye.
Hope for the best.
That's probably what happens if you scratch your eye. When something doesn't flush out, maybe you did flush it out, but you've already scratched your eye.
Scratched.
Yeah.
Must be pretty resilient. Your eyes must be pretty resilient.
Yeah, they do. I wear contacts every day, so I'm constantly in my eyeballs. Taking contacts up and contacts in, you get scratches.
Do you ever have the old contacts, the hard ones? I remember my mom had them with the suction cups that you put in there. That little mini.
No, I just used my fingers. Those were people that couldn't.
No, they were too, because they weren't foldable yet. They were like glass.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFiberone News Radio.
Chris Maurer, CNBC Business Radio. The markets are off to a negative start. The Dow's down 79 points. The Nasdaq lower by 22. Johnson & Johnson will buy hair care products maker Vogue for $3.3 billion. This will add brands like OGX shampoos and FX hairstyling products to its portfolio. Vogue's products are sold in the U.S. as well as 38 other countries. The Takata airbag recall just keeps getting bigger. 7 automakers are adding nearly 4.5 million vehicles in the U.S. They include recalls by GM, Volkswagen, Ford, Daimler Vans, BMW, Jaguar, Land Rover, and Mercedes-Benz. And China is selling many SUVs without electronic stability control as a standard feature. ESC technology prevents rollover accidents. Jobless claims have fallen for a third straight week. Chris Maurer, CNBC.
O'Reilly. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and pick up 5 quarts of O'Reilly Full Synthetic Motor Oil for $19.95. Extend the life of your vehicle and improve your engine's performance with 5 quarts of O'Reilly Full Synthetic Motor Oil for $19.95. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-261-7500 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-261-7500. That's 800-261-7500.
The Chad Benson Show, live weekdays from 3 to 6 on iFiberone News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 103.3, KMAS Shelton.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. Los Angeles police have identified the gunman in the UCLA murder-suicide as a student who was upset over a bad grade and who had a long-standing grudge against the mechanical engineering professor he fatally shot before ending his own life. Classes are resuming at the school today. The floodwaters remain stubbornly high in South Texas, where the Brazos River has chased hundreds from their homes.
We don't expect the water to go down anytime soon. The river is staying at about 54 feet 7 inches, and it's not anticipated to go down for a few days.
31 counties have been declared disaster areas. The job market continues to show signs of strength. Fewer Americans applied for unemployment benefits for the third straight week, and a private payroll processor says employers added a solid 173,000 new workers last month. Hillary Clinton is denouncing Donald Trump as a fraud who she says scammed the American people through his now defunct Trump University. New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman agrees.
In New York, we have laws against business fraud. We have laws against consumer fraud. We have a law against running an illegal, unlicensed university. This never was a university. The fraud started with the name of the organization.
Trump denies it, saying 98% of his students were satisfied. Today, the former Secretary of State is expected to deliver a scathing national security address. ABC's Tom Yamas has a look ahead.
Hillary Clinton set to portray Donald Trump today as a threat to national security. She's going to make the remarks in a very aggressive speech here in California. Now, this comes as Trump is bringing up Benghazi on the campaign trail, saying Clinton was, quote, asleep like a baby when our U.S. compound was attacked in Libya.
A Georgia teenager is now facing felony charges in connection with a car crash that her passengers say happened while she was trying to live stream her speeding on Snapchat's speed filter. She was traveling at 107 miles an hour when she hit another car. A man in that car who was severely injured is suing her and Snapchat. This is ABC News.
ABC Radio presents Made in America with David Muir. Brought to you by Advance Auto Parts Speedworks Rewards. No cards, no points, no nonsense. Details at advanceautoparts.com.
It's a true American classic, the Stetson hat. 150 years old this year, 400 workers on the line at the plant in Garland, Texas, and they're proud to be there. Vice President Dan Brown.
We have it made right here in the USA. We're proud of that fact, and we actually sticker the boxes made in USA and the hats themselves.
This is World News Tonight's David Muir. That's Made in America.
QL1, does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork?
Negative control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage approval process in minutes.
That is fast, like rocket fast.
It also works on any internet-ready device, so you can get a Rocket Mortgage at any time or place you choose. Over.
3, 2, 1.
Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket.
Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
A 19-year-old in Indiana is accused in a killing spree inspired by a movie. ABC's Ryan Burrow explains.
Marion County, Indiana prosecutor Terry Curry announcing the charges against Jonathan Cruz.
Just when you think you cannot experience anything more inexplicable and shocking, as we frequently do, you're then confronted with circumstances that almost leave you at a loss for words.
Prosecutors say Cruz was inspired by the 2013 movie The Purge, where laws are suspended for 12 hours and murder and assault are allowed.
We're going to make it through tonight.
2 people were hurt in attacks. Cruz faces 17 charges. Ryan Burrow, ABC News.
If everything goes according to Elon Musk's plan, SpaceX will send men to Mars by 2025. In an interview at the Southern California Code Conference, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX says they should be able to launch people in 2024. Musk
Go talk on one of those mics for me.
There's just going to be 2 of them, right? Hello, hello. Hello. Hello, hello.
So that's working now.
MTA has removed the Belfair post office as a time point. It's now a call request stop, meaning riders can request this as a deviation by calling the customer service center 2 hours ahead of schedule. Visit masontransit.org and click on rider alerts for full details. The Forest Festival parade on Saturday could have an impact on bus arrival times. Christina Fremont with MTA told Daybreak about that.
So during the parade that we'll be in, the Transit Community Center is closed as a bus stop.
Okay.
Because that's the parade route.
Big stage.
Hey, you can go over there and sit on the sidewalk and watch the parade from the Transit Community Center. Get there early. People like to set up their chairs right away. So our bus stop for folks that are using the service is just going to be 1 block over on Cedar in front of Safeway. So same thing. All the buses, none of the times are changing, other than they might be impacted slightly just because of heavier traffic coming into town due to the events.
In addition, all of Mason Transit's routes are rerouted off of Railroad and just 1 block over. Watch for Christina handing out candy during the parade on Saturday. The theme of the 72nd Annual Forest Festival is We Are Timber Strong. The event is capped by the June 4th Paul Bunyan Grand Parade through downtown Shelton. Many other Forest Festival activities are scheduled today through Sunday. For more information, see masoncountyforestfestival.org or visit the Forest Festival Facebook page, facebook.com/Mason County Forest Festival. Olympic National Park staff is urging all boaters to stay away from the section of river that flows through the former Elwha Dam site. The site is located between U.S. Highway 101 and State Highway 112 outside of the Olympic National Park boundary. Remnants of the dam's foundation remain in that area of the river and include long pieces of rebar and other metal shards that extend close to the water surface. Boulders and swift currents in the area compound the risks, and boaters are urged to avoid this section of the river. Olympic National Park Superintendent Sarah Creechbaum says the risk of snagging a boat on the remaining metal is high and presents a very real danger to boaters and swimmers. The park is working with the Army Corps of Engineers to develop a plan for removing the metal during this summer's low river flows. Until then, boaters, tubers, and swimmers are urged to avoid this section of river through the old Elwha Dam site. For iFiber1 News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
Previously on the Under the Hood Show.
This would be Glenn.
Hey, Glenn, go ahead.
I've got an 87 Honda that I just picked up for a song, like $100, and it runs beautifully at 305,000 miles.
Quite impressive.
But when you start it, you have to start it 3 times to get the automatic choke to kick in properly.
So what, Glenn? It was $100.
Go Under the Hood, Saturdays at noon on iFiber1 News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 103.3.
This is Doug Sample from Whitney Chevrolet. Taxes are on everyone's mind. Make the most of your tax refund at Whitney Chevrolet in Montesano, where the sales tax is lower than most places in the state. Plus other dealers, factory costs are more because they roll in the cost of the advertising. We don't do that, but we do offer lifetime oil changes on every new and used vehicle. Stop by or visit WhitneyChev.com.
A $150 negotiable document fee may be added to the price of all vehicles.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
A familiar name will be back on the football field this fall at North Mason High School. Legendary football coach Phil Pugh has come out of retirement to be the head coach of the Bulldogs once again. Pugh previously coached North Mason for 27 years, including a state championship in 1982. Seattle native and 2-time Cy Young Award winner Tim Lincecum is back pitching in the Northwest. Lincecum signed with the Los Angeles Angels 2 weeks ago. He will make his first start for the Angels AAA affiliate tonight in Tacoma. First pitch for the Rainiers and Bees is set for 7:05 at Cheney Stadium. The Seattle Sounders scored 2 goals in the final 11 minutes on their way to a 2-0 victory over DC United. Jordan Morris scored in the 79th minute and Jovan Jones scored in the 83rd. The Sounders will look for their second road win in a row when they face off against the New York Red Bulls June 16th. James Paxton had a rough night as the Mariners fell to the San Diego Padres 14-6. Will Myers was 3 for 4 at the plate with a home run and 3 RBIs. The Mariners will look for a bounce-back win tonight with Wade Miley set to start. Pre-game is live on iFiber1 News Radio at 5 p.m. First pitch at 6:10. For iFiber1 News Radio, I'm Sean Wells.
Good morning. It's 10 after 7. I'm Carol Gardner along with Jess Leakey, and you are listening to Daybreak. It's about 55 and overcast, and today is going to be much cooler than yesterday. We're going to hit a high of 65. Yesterday we were up to about 73, but just wait till tomorrow. Looks like we're going to hit a high of 81, Saturday 88, and Sunday 95.
Holy moly.
This trend continues into Monday. Well, we'll drop down a little to 85, but it looks, if you like the heat, after we make it through today, it looks great.
Well, it's not the heat, Carol. It's the humidity. You know people say that?
I do know how people say that. But it is going to be clear and sunshiny starting tomorrow. Right now, there are still some chances of rain in some spots around noonish or so. And right now, it's 55.
Now, from the iFiber1 News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Good morning. It's 7-11, I'm Carol Gardner along with Jeff Slakey. Good morning, Jeff.
Morning.
How are you?
Oh, good. I'm excited for Forest Festival.
Well, you got to wait. It doesn't quite start yet, though. The carnival starts probably around noon, I would say.
And, it's leave work early day.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So you leave work early, go up to the carnival.
BCW.
Get some cotton candy or something like that. But first, before we get there, about 5 minutes or so, we have Ross McDowell, Mason County Emergency Manager, and he's going to come in and he's going to give us some information about the Cascadia Rising exercise. That's going to be at the Sanderson Field. That's happening starting next week, but they're coming in on this Friday. And also Mick Sprowski, Forest Festival, he's going to come in and talk about the logging show. We're going to have that about a half an hour from now. And then continuing on with Forest Festival theme, Grand Marshal of the Parade, Ron Pinnell. He'll be in after the 8 o'clock hour. And in the 8 o'clock hour, we'll also have Julie Horowitz, Shellfish Policy Advisor to the Governor, and Bill Dewey from Taylor Shellfish. And they're going to talk about the upcoming Washington Shellfish Week, which is going to be next week, June 4th through the 11th. Also, Jason Dose from the City of Shelton is going to be talking about Sierra Pacific Industries.
Oh, maybe a little update on that. I heard the clanging of the pilings.
You did?
I think I heard the clanging of the pilings.
Is that still going on?
I don't know.
I was clanging in your head.
I was walking around downtown yesterday after the show, and I heard a distinct gong.
Interesting.
And I could only assume.
Well, you could assume a lot.
Which I often do.
Also, we will, somewhere in this busy schedule, we'll play Jeff Chu's news report. The Shelton High School shooting team placed first in a national competition. And he has the story of when they were up at the Mason County Sportsmen's Association gun range. And, of course, it's the big week. It's Forest Festival. We're going to have a weather warning from the National Weather Service, EDC Industry Roundtable.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up today,
and
too. We
also have a story about the 2 Washingtonians are sickened in this E. coli outbreak. Washington health officials say 2 state residents have been sickened in the E. coli connected to General Mills, and they recalled about 10 million pounds of flour. Department of Health spokeswoman in Washington said a person from Grant County and a person from Spokane County are among 38 people in 20 states with infections caused by a harmful strain of E. coli. And the flour that they purchased or ate between December 21st, 2015 and just May 3rd, 2016. And investigators have told General Mills half the people who got sick reported eating homemade foods with flour, including flour from General Mills, according to a company news release. General Mills did recall several brands of its flours sold nationwide, but said no E. coli has been found in the products. So you can check out the General Mills website to see if you have those products.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it's definitely something interesting because you want to make homemade food, and then you get this
and you
issue.
You think making the homemade food is healthier and safer.
Yeah.
714 iFiber One News Radio.
Road to the White House.
He is trying to scam America the way he scammed all those people at Trump U.
Hillary Clinton in Newark, New Jersey, which holds its primary next Tuesday. The now defunct Trump University, the subject of a lawsuit. Court documents providing insight into the school's sales pitches to prospective students. The Trump campaign put out a video defending the school, including testimonials from former students. Mrs. Clinton heading for California, which also holds its primary next Tuesday. Donald Trump is already there and on the attack in Sacramento.
She's one of the worst secretaries of state in the history of our country. Now she wants to be our president. Look, I'll be honest. She has no natural talent to be president. This is not a president.
Bernie Sanders is also in California, but Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid says it's time for Sanders to face reality. Next week's primary is expected to propel Mrs. Clinton to the Democratic nomination. Richard Cantu, ABC News.
You know, there's nothing like the look and feel of a real newspaper. Award-winning writers and design, voted one of the best newspapers in Washington, the Mason County Journal has the news, opinion, and information you want. Full of colorful photos and great-looking ads, share it with family and friends. No electricity required. Look for us at over 80 locations throughout the county or visit masoncounty.com. The Mason County Journal, a big part of this wonderful place we call home.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Paraswabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is John Greenhut, the CEO of Paraswabs. And if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Paraswabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Paraswabs risk-free, call 1-800-928-7113. That's 1-800-928-7113. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends, family, and coworkers talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-928-7113. That's 1-800-928-7113.
717 iFiber One News Radio, and a good morning to you. 'Tis Daybreak here on a Forest Festival Thursday. The carnival's getting underway today at around 4 o'clock, and the schedule for that is going to be 4 to 11. Today and tomorrow, Saturday, 12 to 11, and depending on weather and attendance at the evening times there, Sunday noon to 6. So that's all part of Forest Festival that's coming up. It is 7:17 at iFiber One News Radio.
It's on Railroad Avenue.
I just like shooting, like being able to pull a trigger and put a hole through papers. It's fun.
That's Marissa Newby, Shelton High School's top shooter on the shooting team. She helped the team win nationals. The team in March competed at home with each shooter firing 30 rounds at Mason County Sportsman's Association range. Alan Bragg, Shelton High School shooting team head coach and on the board for Mason County Sportsman's Association, says he was pleasantly surprised when the national results came in.
I figured maybe second, maybe probably third, you know. And when I got the notification in the mail, they came in first nationwide on this post. This post has been running for 9 years at that point. We got first place, and they were just ecstatic about it.
The competition took place out of the Stockbridge, Georgia postal match. Frank's program has grown in the years he has been with it, from 8 to 18 today.
Well, this program, everything is involved in the Olympics. You got people that's shooting this in the Olympics and stuff like that. And again, the Olympics, you take a look at the shooting program out there. There are 10 events that are strictly for precision shooting.
Bill Ziegler, who volunteered to coach the team, says he had little experience as a firearms instructor, but he took an online course in civilian marksmanship that qualified him. He explained what is taught to students.
One of the safety aspect, of course, is a lot of specifics that we go over constantly. And the kids, learn by experience with us and learn from being around other kids who are older who practice safe practices. And second, I think, from my perspective, kids learn discipline from the shooting skills. They learn things that are very common to shooting of all kinds of firearms. For example, breathing, finger control, eye focusing.
Bragg talked about the gun range located at the Port of Shelton's Industrial Park.
This is the facility that we have here. Mason County Sportsman's donate the time and the days for the kids to shoot. We shoot up here Monday through Thursday because I've worked with the school schedule because Fridays, there's sometimes school, not in school, so I decided to do Tuesday through Thursday. And they're out here shooting 22 rifles and gallery air rifle.
Newby is a Shelton senior involved in far more than the shooting team at high school.
I'm in the marching band, I'm on the drill team, I do color for our ROTC, and I do this.
Her teammates, Riley Peters and Anthony Fosher, also talked about their love of shooting.
I try to keep the bullets so they're about 2 inches width together, like at most feet, that's how far it's okay going away from each other. And after that, we start cycling them in and shooting straight.
It's the feeling of that we all work together to get the people that win.
You can say the students on the Shelton High School shooting team are getting a real bang out of what they do here at the Mason County Sportsman's Association range. I'm Jeff Chu for iFiber One News.
Thanks, Jeff. Watch that video at iFiber1newsradio.com. 7:21. Mary Lynn Foster's coming up in a couple of moments. The weekend is going to have some pretty warm weather, and we get a warning from the Weather Service.
We do. They say the reason we're having this warm weather is a warm ridge of high pressure is building into the area from the southeast, and that's going to start tomorrow. It's going to go through Sunday. Has the potential for some of the hottest temperatures so far this year from about Everett south over the weekend. And if they materialize, which it looks like they're going to, the elderly and those with existing health concerns may experience impacts from the heat.
It is hot in your car.
It is hot. So there's no real major, warning. It's more, I suppose, just they say a heat advisory will probably be issued later for the weekend if they continue to be expected. But they just have to say that because the weather so changes around. But 80s to lower 90s on Saturday and upper 80s to mid 90s on Sunday, and the low temperatures they say are only going to fall till about 60, which is so sometimes very hard to sleep at night if you have really warm temperatures. But the main thing is, the waterways are still cold, so if you think you're going to get rid of the heat by jumping into the water, really pay attention to where you're going to jump into.
That feeling, you jump into the water and your whole body just constricts, is that the word?
You're in shock.
Oh my gosh.
Your lungs just contract because it's just way too cold. And also the other thing is, don't leave yourself or your pets or your child in your car. I'll be just a minute, and then 1 minute turns to 10.
It always turns. And once you say that, you jinx yourself.
Yeah.
It'll just be a minute.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, 3 hours later.
Yeah, so just don't leave things in the car. I don't know. Can you leave your cell phone in the car and have it get heated up? I don't know. Is that?
Yeah, no. I've seen heat warnings on your phone if it gets too hot.
Huh. Well, there you go.
Saw a picture of a guy. I was looking at a BuzzFeed article of 29 photos that prove dog
all
lovers
very good research projects.
And it was a picture of a guy at the post office. He was carrying what I assume is a child backpack, but in the backpack was his dog.
Well, there you go. You got to take care of your creatures.
7:23 at iFiber1 News Radio.
ABC Entertainment News. Here's Jason Nathanson.
One of music's biggest power couples has called it quits.
I go on too many dates, but I can't make them stay.
Taylor Swift and superstar DJ producer Calvin Harris are no longer together. They've been dating a little over a year. As for what happened, we'll probably find out when she releases her next album. A director who recently slammed actress Keira Knightley has apologized.
I think everything's changed.
Begin Again director John Carney trashed his star in a recent interview, saying the Oscar nominee lacked honesty and self-analysis in her acting, and referring to her said he never wanted to work with supermodels again. Many rushed to her defense, and Carney took a lot of heat. Now he tweets that he's a complete idiot. He's ashamed he said such mean and hurtful things, and there's no justification for it. Looks like we have a front-runner to play Captain Marvel.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Oscar winner Brie Larson is in talks to play one of Marvel's top female superheroes, according to Variety. The film's due out in 2019. I'm Jason Nathanson.
The safety of your family should be the first thing you think about when you wake and the last thing before going to bed. In this uncertain time, you can't depend on others to be there for protection when something happens. Get the skills you need to protect yourself and your family at Garrison Defensive. Even if you're a novice, Garrison Defensive can transform you into a confident protector of your family. Invest in yourself and your knowledge. Contact Garrison Defensive today, 360-801-5898, or online, garrisondefensive.com.
The Mason County Forest Festival is this weekend. We are Timber Strong. Share the smiles and make great Forest Festival memories with your friends and family. The carnival's open Thursday afternoon through Sunday. Saturday's fun includes the Goldsboro Creek Run, Walk, or Jog, Firefighters Pancake Breakfast, Family and Pet Parade, and the Paul Bunyan Grand Parade. Plus, Mason County Forest Festival Logging Show is proud to host the Steel Timber Sports Western Professional Qualifier at Loop Field from 1 till 4. And Saturday night is the spectacular fireworks display. On Sunday, the Forest Festival shifts gears to celebrate the 26th anniversary of the Shelton Car Show-Off. And at 2 o'clock, the Ducks race down Goldsboro Creek. Get all the details at MasonCountyForestFestival.org.
The 72nd Annual Mason County Forest Festival, June 2nd through 5th, sponsored by Green Diamond Resource Company, Sierra Pacific Industries, Little Creek Casino Resort, Mankey Lumber, Gillis Auto Center, and iFiber1 News Radio.
Life's
livestock aren't able to fan themselves to cool off. Hi, I'm Jody Henke. Evaporative cooling systems reduce the ambient temperature indoors and alleviate the effects of heat stress as you're living the country life.
Living the country life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic and from previous shows by visiting us online at livingthecountrylife.com. We'll return to the show after these messages.
Are you looking for ideas for your acreage or country home? Needing some inspiration for an outdoor living space and tips on raising backyard chickens? You'll find all of this and more in the Living the Country Life magazine, available on newsstands now or buy online at themeredithstore.com under the gardening titles. The magazine includes more pages than ever before, and we've expanded to include extra decorating, gardening, and recipes, plus the homegrown topics you've always loved. Look for real stories, useful tips, rich photography, and much more. In every issue, you will find home and property improvement tips, small farm livestock and pet information, ideas for country homes and inspiration for outdoor living spaces, and stories on the farm-to-table movement. Look for Living the Country Life magazine at mass market retailers like Walmart and Target, bookstores, and the checkout lane at Safeway, Jewel Osco, Albertsons, or your local grocery store. Livestock kept indoors can suffer from heat stress in the summer months. When combined with a natural ventilation system, evaporative cooling is a low-cost way to keep animals comfortable in the barn and other livestock facilities. Animals show their appreciation by staying on feed. Misty Wilburn is the marketing manager for Portacool. She says evaporative coolers are similar to an air conditioning system, but they're much more energy efficient and have no coils or chemicals. Plain tap water runs over evaporative media, air passes through it, and cooled air comes out from the front of the fan. Compared to other livestock cooling systems such as mist and sprays, an evaporative cooler lowers the ambient temperature without making everything around it soggy.
They're not going to have that mist that goes everywhere that can cause mud, which increases your chance for foot rot and mastitis. So the evaporative coolers are going to provide just cool air without the humidity and the added water that a fogging system or a mister is going to do.
The coolers average in cost from around $500 up to $3,000. Wilburn says choosing the right one depends on a few factors.
So depending on the size of your animal, the area that you need to cool, you also have to look at the size of your space. Our products range in cooling anywhere from 500 square feet all the way up to about 7,000 or 8,000 square feet. So it kind of depends on what you need.
Evaporative coolers are compact, self-contained appliances. They only have two working parts, the water pump and fan motor, so they consume very little power. Wilburn estimates that it costs around $1 per day to run them. Learn more about evaporative coolers for livestock at livingthecountrylife.com. I'll see you in the country.
Living the Country Life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic, share your tips, and post photos by visiting us online.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
From the iFiberone News Radio Studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. There's some service changes that will go into effect on Monday for Mason Transit customers. Route 5 and Route 7, which are the local loops in the Shelton area, are being rerouted to better serve customers. The biggest impact is for Route 4, which is the Belfair local. MTA has removed the Belfair post office as a time point. It's now a call request stop, meaning riders can request this as a deviation by calling the customer service center 2 hours ahead of schedule. Visit masontransit.org and click on rider alerts for full details. The Forest Festival Parade on Saturday could have an impact on bus arrival times. Christina Fremont with MTA told Daybreak about that.
So during the parade that we'll be in, the Transit Community Center is closed as a bus stop.
Okay.
Because that's the parade route.
Big stage.
Hey, you can go over there and sit on the sidewalk and watch the parade from the Transit Community Center. Get there early. People like to set up their chairs right away. So our bus stop for folks that are using the service is just going to be one block over on Cedar in front of Safeway. So same thing. All the buses, none of the times are changing, other than they might be impacted slightly just because of heavier traffic coming into town due to the events.
In addition, all of Mason Transit's routes are rerouted off of Railroad and just one block over. Watch for Christina handing out candy during the parade on Saturday. The theme of the 72nd Annual Forest Festival is We Are Timber Strong. The event is capped by the June 4th Paul Bunyan Grand Parade through downtown Shelton. Many other Forest Festival activities are scheduled today through Sunday. For more information, see masoncountyforestfestival.org or visit the Forest Festival Facebook page, facebook.com/Mason County Forest Festival. Olympic National Park staff is urging all boaters to stay away from the section of river that flows through the former Elwha Dam site. The site is located between U.S. Highway 101 and State Highway 112 outside of the Olympic National Park boundary. Remnants of the dam's foundation remain in that area of the river and include long pieces of rebar and other metal shards that extend close to the water's surface. Boulders and swift currents in the area compound the risks, and boaters are urged to avoid this section of the river. Olympic National Park Superintendent Sarah Creechbaum says the risk of snagging a boat on the remaining metal is high and presents a very real danger to boaters and swimmers. The park is working with the Army Corps of Engineers to develop a plan for removing the metal during this summer's low river flows. Until then, boaters, tubers, and swimmers are urged to avoid this section of river through the old Elwha Dam site. For iFiber One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
Now, from the iFiber One News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Good morning to you. It's Daybreak, iFiber One News Radio, 7:33 here on a Thursday morning. Coming up tomorrow, we're going to start to see a lot of traffic coming into town as all part of the Cascadia Rising Earthquake exercise for the great state of Washington. We have in studio with us today Ross McDowell and Henry Cervantes from Mason County Emergency Management. And morning, guys. How you doing?
Morning.
Good to see you guys both. This is a big event that's happening.
Oh, it is. It is a very big event. Very big event.
We're trying to get ourselves prepared and ready to go for our own personal preparation when it comes to this, but also we would just want to make sure that the community is aware that there's going to be increased activity around port property for the next week or so. Is that right?
That's correct. That is correct. And it's going to be quite a bit of activity for there. We've been honored by being designated a Tier 2 airport location, which is Sanderson Field. That means basically that that is going to be the field where they're going to do a lot of the supply drops are going to be there going out to the coast. So they're going to see a lot more helicopters, and they're going to see a lot more larger vehicles coming through, and a lot more of the Washington State Guard there at the field.
Okay,
for
so
a week.
Does Mason County have a role in this, or we're just sort of have the space that the military is using?
No, this is a big opportunity for us. It's going to be a major communications exercise between the State Emergency Operations Center, the EOC, and our County Emergency Operations Center. They want to have message traffic going back and forth, we let the state know what's going on in our area, how bad, we've been hit with the earthquake and damage and casualties, and what resources we're going to need to get back to normal operations. So the state, it's a big deal with the state. They're playing with all the western counties, big cities, Seattle, Tacoma, Olympia. So they need input from all the state and local EOCs into the state EOC so they can run their processes and their procedures, and they can do what they need to do to get further resources from FEMA, because all disasters start at the local level with us, at the county, and then once we start running out of resources, firemen, law enforcement, supplies, equipment to remove debris and stuff, then we ask the state, we need more additional resources to help us. And then the state gives us what they can from different counties or whatever, different states that we have agreements to. And then once those resources start running out, then they go up to FEMA, and then we start the federal level.
Okay, so are other counties going to be involved also besides Mason County?
Yes. We're part of Homeland Security Region 3, which is made up of the 5 counties of Thurston County, Grace Harbor, Pacific County, Lewis County, and Mason County. So all 5 of those counties will also be playing. So our Homeland Security Region 3 is also playing. So we're all assisting each other and communicating with each other. We're going to have message traffic going back and forth between their state or their county EOCs and our EOCs. So,
and it doesn't just take on the western part of the state. This also affects the eastern part of the state, because if something does happen to this kind of a magnitude, we're going to be devastated over here. I mean, it doesn't matter how prepared you are. It's just that shock originally. That we're going to need help from the eastern part of the state coming over and into Idaho, helping us out. And like on this exercise, it's trying to get everybody into that big partnership that we've already talked about. We've done all this talking. Now it's time to let's test it out, including British Columbia and including Oregon. So we're pulling in the 3 states plus British Columbia, because we know if this does happen and it does hit the coastal area is going to be devastated. That we're going to receive some of the people coming our way, but then where are they going to go from here? There has to be something else for them, somewhere else for them to go, because we don't have all the resources that they're going to need. And we don't have the resources to help those people, so we're going to be calling on the folks from eastern Washington and Idaho to come over and help backfill some of those resources that we lost in an earthquake. So it's a very large-scale partnership is what I would call this.
So this is as close you can get to the real thing happening. You guys are going to have all the bells and whistles are going to go off, and the drill begins. And
this is actually called a full-scale exercise, which means basically we are moving people. People are moving around. The Washington State Guard is coming here, bringing helicopters, bringing everything. We're using our communications that we have, so we're going to be testing out all of our communication equipment with our partners that are in our region and in the rest of the state. And it actually is, it's the closest you're going to get to having the real event.
Have you ever been involved in something similar? I mean, obviously not as big, because this is sort of the biggest thing, but something similar to
Last
this?
summer.
Last summer.
When the National Guard was here and they did the Evergreen Tremors exercise.
So that was sort of a smaller version of this. And how did that go?
It went great. We learned a lot of lessons. The state was here again with the Guard. There was about 400 troops over there doing their command and control operations. This time they're bringing in about 1,200. And it's going to be the command and control elements, the headquarters people. But then there's also going to be troops that will actually be moving supplies, driving trucks. They're going to be running convoys, because they want to know what the road systems are like between here and Grace Harbor. Because once earthquake happens, there's supposed to be a tsunami that will affect the coast. So there's going to be a lot of requirements for aid and assistance on the coast. So the Guard, using Sanderson Field as a major staging base, they'll have the troops, staying there, sleeping there and stuff. And then to get the supplies and rescue people and stuff, they'll be running convoys out to Grace Harbor on all the smaller roads, the major roads, just so the Guard gets used to this area. Because the unit that's coming to support us, the 96th Transportation Command, they're basically out of Seattle, Tacoma. They don't know Mason County.
Right. Sure.
So it's a chance for them to get familiar with our area, because in the event of a disaster, they'll be assigned to us direct. There won't have to be any, who's available, who's coming. We already know. So we've already developed that working relationship. They know us, we know them, and very successful exercise last summer. So we're going to definitely build on that relationship and that exercise experience from last summer. So.
And communications is really important. I know I listened to your show yesterday, and you were talking to the gentleman that works over at Sanderson Field, talking about when he was over in Japan, the earthquake, and how it was so important, the communication, to let people know that he was okay. that's why our biggest focus is on this one for us is the communication section. If we can get information out to our partners all over of what's going on here, our situational awareness, here's what we have, here's what's going on, here's what we need, okay? That's the key to this whole thing. If you're or else you're just going to sit there like a duck in the water and do nothing. No, we need to have that communications part. That's why that is our big focus for us is the communications. Because if we have something that somebody else can use or needs and we can get it to them, we are going to. And vice versa. If we need something, we're hoping our partners will come in and say, hey, we have that. We'll get that over to you as soon as we can and help you. And it's just learning to work together. And this is it's a great exercise. Last year's was fantastic. We did learn a lot about communication issues that we did have with frequencies and who can use this, who can use that. We broke through the barriers of that because they said during an emergency it's all going to be opened up. It's like, oh, well, hey, that makes it a lot easier on us. And we worked with their liaison officers, which basically put them in our EOC, so we definitely had the contacts. And, it worked wonderful last year. It really did. But it was kind of working our way and walking our way through that communication cycle that we needed, that I think this year is going to go even smoother.
We got a lot of hills and valleys in Mason County, and that could be a communication nightmare.
It definitely is.
You got to have the line of sight between if you have a fire or a police car that uses a repeater or something like that. Oh, my goodness.
And see, that's one thing that we were talking about. If we do have an earthquake, are the repeaters going to be still up and running? So that's why we went to the ham radio operations. We're doing redundant communications systems so that we don't rely on cell phone.
Sure.
Because cell phone's going to get jammed up. We know it. We tell people even now, hey, if that happens, it's easier to do a text.
Right.
That's easier to get through. It might still take a little bit, but it's going to get through easier. So texting is good. But we're looking at, if we need to get things out. We even have a system that's in there. It's called Packet System in our ham radio, which sends emails. Basically, it's running an email over the ham radio lines.
Wow.
And it's great. It's been around for a while, but we have that. We have that in ours that we can do that. So if it comes down to that point of we need something in writing kind of a thing or something to get to somebody, we have that option too. So we've been trying to get a lot of different options available for communications. We've been working with MazeCom, and there's for a digital channel that we have that's going to be a digital channel for the local agencies here, so we can give our situation reports to us, and we're going to be practicing that. That's one of the things that we're practicing in our communication side, that from all over the county, so that we can give what's called a CAN report, which tells you what do you have, what do you need, okay, what your situation is, because it might be different what's happening in Belfair than what's happening here in Shelton.
Yeah.
There could be differences there. We want to know what's going on in our county so we can report that up through the state and say, here's what we need, if we don't have those resources.
So crews are going to start showing up tomorrow, and they're going to stick with us in this parts for the next week or so. We were talking to Dick Taylor from the port yesterday, too, about making sure people know there's stuff going on, but there's no real opportunities to see what's going on.
Not really. There's it's just going to be extra traffic around.
Okay.
And I got to say, it's been really nice working with Dick and the group from over there at the airport. Very open to, yes, let's do this, let's practice this, let's get this going. And I really appreciate that. I like the idea of having good partnerships and open partnerships. So, yeah, it's been really nice. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And there will be an influx of green guys, as we call them. There'll be a lot of green people here, so the traffic might be a little bit different on 101. During that time, we're working on getting some reader boards so that people can see those.
Oh, good.
Gives them a little warning that this is happening, and I'm glad that you guys are doing this so people will know we're not getting evaded, or something like that. That was one thing that was brought up last time, because there was some issues that why are they here? What's going on? So getting the info out is a good thing.
It's important to have that information.
Yeah, definitely.
Ross McDowell, Henry Cervantes from Mason County Emergency Management, talking about the Cascadia Rising earthquake drill that's coming up starting kind of tomorrow. They're going to be in town, and through the rest of the week, the governor will be here, I think, on the 8th. Is that right?
On the 8th, that's correct.
All
yes.
right. Thanks, guys. Good to see you.
Hey, nice being here. Nice
Good
seeing
information.
you guys. Yeah, thanks.
7:45 at iFiber1. After this, we'll talk more about Forest Festival coming up.
I'm here to talk about Arch Mechanical. Their name begins with affordable. Affordable refrigeration, cooling, and heating. Residential or commercial, please ask about their ductless heating and cooling systems. And along with those come utility rebates of up to $1,400. Over 30 years of experience, Arch Mechanical has earned the distinction as a Northwest Master Installer for ductless systems. Find out more at archmechanical.com. That's archmechanical.com.
Road to the White House.
He is trying to scam America the way he scammed all those people at Trump U.
Hillary Clinton in Newark, New Jersey, which holds its primary next Tuesday. The now defunct Trump University, the subject of a lawsuit. Court documents providing insight into the school's sales pitches to prospective students. The Trump campaign put out a video defending the school, including testimonials from former students. Mrs. Clinton heading for California, which also holds its primary next Tuesday. Donald Trump is already there and on the attack in Sacramento.
She's one of the worst secretaries of state in the history of our country. Now she wants to be our president. Look, I'll be honest. She has no natural talent to be president. This is not a president.
Bernie Sanders is also in California, but Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid says it's time for Sanders to face reality. Next week's primary is expected to propel Mrs. Clinton to the Democratic nomination. Richard Cantu, ABC News.
Taylor Shellfish is a proud sponsor of the Environmentally Sound program. For 5 generations, the Taylor family's been stewards of a healthy and prosperous Puget Sound. In partnership with nature, Taylor Shellfish brings you the freshest, most sustainable shellfish you'll ever eat. Visit their store at 136 Southeast Lynch Road. Open daily from 10 to 6, and they're online at TaylorShellfishFarms.com.
Mason County Garbage and Recycling on Johns Prairie here in Shelton is pleased to offer safe and efficient removal services. Mason County Garbage and Recycling is always mindful of environmental standards and is continuously striving for the highest excellence. Mason County Garbage and Recycling, upholding your trust within the community. Questions? Call 426-8729. In Belfair, 275-4590.
Good morning to you, 7:48 at iFiber1 News Radio. It is Daybreak here, and we are happy to continue our conversations this morning, and we're going to talk now with Mick Sprosky from Forest Festival. We had him on yesterday to kind of talk about some of the big things that are happening and more events to focus on today. Morning, Mick. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good
Doing well.
Good to see you again in here, and we are really getting excited about Forest Festival. Carnival this afternoon around 4. Things are getting underway, and then the whole weekend is going to be awesome.
Yes, it is.
One thing that we wanted to focus on, we didn't touch on yesterday, is about the parade. We're going to have the Grand Marshal for this year, Ron Pinnell, in about 15 minutes. But there's a very special Forest Festival queen that's going to be part of the parade this year.
Yes, this year we're honored to still have around Lois Gibbler. She was the first queen for Forest Festival. She'll be, she's 89 years old. Wow. She'll be, I believe, in one of the convertibles going through the parade. So, you know, that's just spectacular. If you think about that, do the math. She was probably 17, 16, 17 when she was queen in, I believe, 1945.
Isn't that something?
Yes.
Wow, what a great way to celebrate the Forest Festival and bringing it around from the beginnings of this event. Timber Strong, of course, focuses on the forest industry, the forests here in the county, and just what a big part they are to our day-to-day life. The Western Professional Qualifier for the Steel Timber Sports is happening Saturday as well. So let's talk about this. This is a big event. This is what you see on ABC and ESPN and stuff like that. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
These are like the professionals, and they're trying to get to the national championship. Is that how it works here?
That's correct. Their next step will be the national championship, and then from there on to world.
Wow. What are some of the events that are going to be?
So for the qualifying events, we have the springboard chop, the stock saw, standing block chop, a single buck, underhand chop, the hot saw. So
these are the ones. The first one you mentioned, is that where you kind of hit the tree a little bit and then you shove the piece of wood in there and jump on top?
Correct.
Oh, man.
Correct. They've got to make 2 sets with their springboards. You know, they get to the top board and they've got to chop both sides.
Have you ever done this?
I have not.
Oh, my gosh. I can only imagine how tiring your arms get throughout the whole day of this event.
But they make it look pretty easy.
These guys are real athletes.
Yeah.
Super athletes, actually.
What is the hot saw?
Hot saw is it's a modified chainsaw. They're actually running a either a jet ski engine or a snowmobile engine. They're modified. So, and that's for competition. You'll see a lot of hobby stock saws out there, hot saws that are. We've had them there with V8s and with nitrous.
Oh my gosh!
For the competition, they're a 2-stroke, usually snowmobile motors or engines.
And
how did somebody get to here? I mean, because I know they're going farther. They're hoping to go to nationals, but how did they get to this competition that's going to be happening Saturday?
They're watched through other competitions, and they qualify for this in the Western region. Our region has shrunk a little bit. They've just added a Midwest qualifier, so we're down to 8 contestants versus 10. So
this is a free event.
Yes, it is.
So people after the parade are going to able to head over to Loop Field, and there's plenty of space in between where the folks are going to watch, and the activities are going to take place. So safety is paramount, of course.
Absolutely.
And how long is this going to be? Is it a couple hours?
It'll be a couple hours. We're scheduled from 1 to 4. Looks like but according to my schedule, we've got it wrapping up right around 3:55. Okay. So 4 o'clock.
And are there prizes awarded to the qualifiers? Or the folks who move
the only prizes that will be there, we actually have some fill-in competition that you'll see, so that when we're changing the stage or the athletes are resting or whatnot, we'll have axe throwing, the different tree climbing events, and then the burling pond, the log rolling pond.
Oh.
So those events, those are set up so those folks that participate, in order to help them come along, there will be prizes. I'm not aware of what the awards are that's set up through our other organizer.
So it's full events. There's no real downtime, and so the ones where they shimmy up the tree as quickly as they can, ring the bell, and try to get down without breaking their legs or something. I see those guys. That is amazing.
Correct.
I love watching that.
We'll have, I believe, we'll have some topping events there too. So they're not only climbing, they're going up and cutting the top out of the spar pole. It's actually a block that we've placed there that they'll take a section of.
Is that with a chainsaw or?
That's with a small topping saw. It's a manual saw. So
you're going to carry that one up?
Yeah.
And then
they're about 3 feet long, 4 feet long, and the tail's behind them as they go up the tree.
Carol, you have some information on the championships?
Well, it looks like after today, they would go. Whoever wins goes to New York. Is that correct?
Actually, they're going to Chicago.
Oh, Chicago first. Okay.
Chicago, yeah. New York was last year.
Oh, New York was last year. Okay.
Wow.
Yep, that's okay.
I mean, those are big. These are big. Major events.
Yeah, yes. These are like professional athletes. I mean, they choose this path. It's not just a hobby.
Correct.
They start somewhere in one of these smaller regional districts, and then they just work their way up and then go to the world competition, it looks like.
I mean, the picture with the guy with the mohawk, what was his name again?
Dave Moses.
So I see him on the Steel commercials, and I saw him in Shelton last year. He's coming this year?
Yes, he is.
Wow, very cool.
We've had Dave, when we run the exhibitions, he's been here probably for 90% of them.
Wow.
So, because they've used this event prior to having the qualifier as a warm-up for the qualifier, or continuing to maintain their conditioning and whatnot to go on to nationals.
Mick Sprofsky, who's the president of the Mason County Forest Festival Association, on the air with us today, talking more about the events happening. And then Sunday is the car show on Olympic Highway North, and that's going to be starting off pretty early. It's going to be like 95 degrees, so the car guys, I'm sure, will show up bright and early looking for their spots.
Yes.
And then that's a fun event that helped out with the NJROTC of Shelton High School. The fireworks are Saturday night in the evening. People have a chance to get up by the middle school after the logging show and everything. There's plenty of time for that.
Yes. Yeah.
And then Sunday afternoon is the Duck Dash.
Correct.
Oh, my gosh. Well, you're going to be celebrating on Monday after all these events are.
Yes.
Get ready to start the 2017 Forest Festival preparations.
Correct.
Mick Sprofsky, thanks for coming in, and we will see you this weekend.
All right. Thank you.
7:56 at iFiber One News Radio.
ABC Entertainment News. Here's Jason Nathanson.
One of music's biggest power couples has called it quits.
I go on too many dates, but I can't make them stay.
Taylor Swift and superstar DJ producer Calvin Harris are no longer together. They've been dating a little over a year. As for what happened, we'll probably find out when she releases her next album. A director who recently slammed actress Keira Knightley has apologized.
I think everything's changed.
Begin Again director John Carney trashed his star in a recent interview, saying the Oscar nominee lacked honesty and self-analysis in her acting, and referring to her said he never wanted to work with supermodels again. Many rushed to her defense, and Carney took a lot of heat. Now he tweets that he's a complete idiot. He's ashamed he said such mean and hurtful things, and there's no justification for it. Looks like we have a frontrunner to play Captain Marvel.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Oscar winner Brie Larson is in talks to play one of Marvel's top female superheroes, according to Variety. The film's due out in 2019. I'm Jason Nathanson.
Take your relationship with oysters to the next level. Visit Hama Hama Oyster Company. The retail store is a stone's throw from the oyster beds, and now you can enjoy a delicious shellfish meal in their new outside waterfront dining area. Delicious oysters, plus fresh clams, smoked salmon, Dungeness crab, and more. Make the trip to Hama Hama Oyster Company. Enjoy world-class oysters at Lilliwatt prices. Hama Hama.
Aren't you tired of traffic? Sitting in your car for what feels like forever? Wouldn't you rather work where you live? Mason County offers a variety of job openings that you can take advantage of right now. Apply for Support Services Director, Court Clerk, Weed Control Assistant, or a seasonal flagging position. These are all jobs available to you in your hometown right now. So jump on over to Mason County's website and print off an application or two, and then let them know that iFiber One News Radio referred you.
7:58, iFiber One News Radio, and we are coming back from a great interview with Mick Sprofsky. We also talked with Henry Cervantes and Ross McDowell. Next hour, we've got the Grand Marshal of the parade, Ron Pinnell, and even more guests coming up next hour, too. 7:59 at iFiber One News Radio. We just got about a minute, so what else is going on, Carol? We got...
We have Julie Horowitz, Shellfish Policy Advisor to the Governor, with Bill Dewey from Taylor Shellfish. They're going to talk about the Washington Shellfish Week, which starts next week. And also Jason Dose from the City of Shelton. He's going to be speaking on some of the Sierra Pacific industry. Give us an update on what's happening with those guys.
How things are going.
Yep.
Also... coming up, I'm not sure if we're going to have time because we got so many great guests, but the latest news from King Tut.
Yeah, I know. King Tut's dagger made of meteorite?
Well, if you follow the stories of King Tut, he was a young king of Egypt.
He didn't get old.
No, he was like 19 or something. Yeah. And, you know, they say they found some potentially... some things behind the walls of King Tut's tomb. Somebody said they find it, then somebody says, oh yeah, we did some scans and we saw stuff, and now they're saying, well, sorry, maybe we didn't see stuff.
Yeah, they're sort of blocking
They're
it.
hedging a little. Interesting.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFiber One News Radio.
Tom Hartman is live and waiting your call. Weekdays from 9 to noon on iFiber One News Radio. AM 1030, FM 103.3, KMAS Shelton.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase.
To keep Americans from falling into so-called debt traps, the White House is proposing new rules to crack down on payday lenders. They would require lenders to first determine whether borrowers can afford to pay back their loans before handing them out, and also cut off repeated debit attempts that rack up fees, putting them deeper into debt. Major automakers are warning nearly 4.5 million more car owners their vehicles, too, may be equipped with potentially faulty Takata airbags. More automakers, 7 more, are launching additional recalls, including BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Ford, and Jaguar Land Rover. Hillary Clinton is calling Donald Trump a fraud, accusing him of bilking students out of his now defunct Trump University. And she's not the only one calling him out for the so-called school. ABC's Tom Yamas has more.
Trump also dealing with the fallout from 3 different lawsuits against Trump University. The billionaire is standing by the real estate course venture, but former students are suing him, saying they were defrauded out of tens of thousands of dollars. Trump also in California. He'll be making a speech in San Jose today and tomorrow in Northern California. He's convinced he can win this state in the general election. The last Republican to win California, George H.W. Bush, in 1988.
Famed animal expert Jane Goodall wrote a condolence letter to officials at the Cincinnati Zoo over the shooting death of a gorilla, calling it devastating. Meanwhile, ABC's Alex Perez says police have not yet charged the parents.
At this point, authorities, the Cincinnati police, will only say that they are investigating whether the child was supervised properly and whether the child's family and mother should be held responsible. But there's been no indication yet how exactly all this will unfold. Our local affiliate here in Cincinnati is telling us they believe the prosecutor who's reviewing the evidence in this case could have an update on possible charges as early as Friday.
The motive in yesterday's murder-suicide at UCLA may be anger over bad grades. The gunman was a student. This is ABC News.
QL1, this is Control. Ground crew is secure. Over. Copy that, Control. Rockets powering up. Over. QL1, this is Control. Does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork? Negative, Control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly and seamlessly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage approval process in minutes. Copy that, QL1. That is fast, like rocket fast. Do you think that's why they named it Rocket Mortgage? Over. Affirmative, Control. That's probably why they named it Rocket Mortgage. It also works on any internet-ready device, so you can get a Rocket Mortgage at any time or place you choose. Roger that, QL1. So technically speaking, you could get a Rocket Mortgage at rocket speed from inside an actual rocket? Please just press the button, Control. Over. Copy that, QL1. 3, 2, 1. Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket. Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
A rare stamp is being returned to its rightful owner today after 61 years of being missing. ABC's Aaron Katersky has the story.
If you know one famous stamp, it's probably the inverted Jenny, the one with the upside-down biplane. 100 of these 24-cent postage stamps were mistakenly printed that way in 1918. Today, they can sell for more than $1.5 million. Jenny number 76 was stolen in 1955. At the time, it belonged to Ethel McCoy, whose father founded Dow Jones. Last month, the stamp turned up at an auction house here in New York. A man from Ireland said he had received it from his grandfather. Once the FBI told him it was stolen, the man agreed to turn it over to the American Philatelic Research Library. Aaron Katersky, ABC News, New York.
The so-called Chewbacca mom has gotten another honor. Southeastern University in Florida has offered full scholarships to her and her family. Candace Payne first hit the spotlight when she donned a Chewie mask and laughed hysterically in a viral video. She was then invited to Disney World to meet with the real Chewie. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
From the iFiberone News Radio Studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. There's some service changes that will go into effect on Monday for Mason Transit customers. Route 5 and Route 7, which are the local loops in the Shelton area, are being rerouted to better serve customers. The biggest impact is for Route 4, which is the Belfair local. MTA has removed the Belfair post office as a time point. It's now a call request stop, meaning riders can request this as a deviation by calling the customer service center 2 hours ahead of schedule. Visit masontransit.org and click on rider alerts for full details. The Forest Festival Parade on Saturday could have an impact on bus arrival times. Christina Fremont with MTA told Daybreak about that.
So during the parade that we'll be in, the Transit Community Center is closed as a bus stop.
Okay.
Because that's the parade route.
Big stage.
Hey, you can go over there and sit on the sidewalk and watch the parade from the Transit Community Center. Get there early. People like to set up their chairs right away. So our bus stop for folks that are using the service is just going to be one block over on Cedar in front of Safeway. So same thing. All the buses, none of the times are changing, other than they might be impacted slightly just because of heavier traffic coming into town due to the events.
In addition, all of Mason Transit's routes are rerouted off of Railroad and just one block over. Watch for Christina handing out candy during the parade on Saturday. The theme of the 72nd Annual Forest Festival is We Are Timber Strong. The event is capped by the June 4th Paul Bunyan Grand Parade through downtown Shelton. Many other Forest Festival activities are scheduled today through Sunday. For more information, see masoncountyforestfestival.org or visit the Forest Festival Facebook page, facebook.com/Mason County Forest Festival. Olympic National Park staff is urging all boaters to stay away from the section of river that flows through the former Elwha Dam site. The site is located between U.S. Highway 101 and State Highway 112 outside of the Olympic National Park boundary. Remnants of the dam's foundation remain in that area of the river and include long pieces of rebar and other metal shards that extend close to the water surface. Boulders and swift currents in the area compound the risks, and boaters are urged to avoid this section of the river. Olympic National Park Superintendent Sarah Creechbaum says the risk of snagging a boat on the remaining metal is high and presents a very real danger to boaters and swimmers. The park is working with the Army Corps of Engineers to develop a plan for removing the metal during this summer's low river flows. Until then, boaters, tubers, and swimmers are urged to avoid this section of river through the old Elwha Dam site. For iFiber News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
Now, from the iFiber News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
8:07 at iFiber News Radio, and a good morning to you. It is Daybreak, and we are happy to talk with the Grand Marshal of the 72nd Annual Forest Festival Parade, Ron Pinnell. How you doing, Ron?
Very good.
Good to see you in here. His beautiful bride, Dawn, is here as well. She's ready for riveting radio real estate tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I'm practicing.
You're just going to hang out for the rest of the day. I like it.
No.
So, Ron, you are the Grand Marshal for the parade this year. It's coming up Saturday, and the parade's going to start at 11.
Right. That's what they tell me.
That's what they tell you. So, I mean, this is a pretty big honor to be the Grand Marshal of the parade. That's like the numero uno. How did you get bestowed with being the Marshal?
Well, you didn't believe me when I told you before that nobody else showed up. No, that's not true. They asked for names to be put in, and evidently Christmastown Kiwanis, I believe it was, put my name in, and it went from there.
I mean, you've been around the community for so long, and you've done such good work for the community. So,
yeah, just about exactly, a little over 50 years. I've been in Kiwanis in this town for 50 years, and it was just before that. I love to tell a story. When I came into town, I never gotten a speeding ticket in my life, and I got one that morning. And so that started the week off, and then we got going on the week, and the next thing I know was the Alaskan earthquake and knocked everything off the shelves. And I thought, this is a great greeting. Then a couple weeks later was Forest Festival, and I really was pulling my hair out. And but the business I had was right on Main Street. So
I can imagine how busy it was messing up traffic for you, your storefront. So 50 years. I mean, so I'm guessing you've been to a couple Forest Festival parades.
Been to a couple Forest Festival parades.
What's it been like? And so you've been watching for so many years, and now you're going to be in the parade. What do you think that's going to be like?
I really don't know. I have had all kinds of advice.
I'm sure.
How to wave. what kind of clothes you're going to wear. And,
yeah, well, it's going to be
Are you
hot.
wearing a hat? It's going to be a hot day.
He doesn't do that.
So no hats. What's the wave? We're on the YouTube. We got the video going. So show us your wave that you have.
Well, I'm taking all kinds of suggestions, but some of them I can't use.
You can't. All the fingers.
Yes.
What was the old thing it used to be?
Wrist, elbow,
wrist.
Yeah.
Pet the dog and blow a kiss or something like that.
Oh,
I don't know if
okay.
So now you guys are ready to go for sure. Don, what's it like to be married to the Grand Marshal?
Very good, very good. I'm very proud of
It
him.
hasn't been trying lately with all his celebrity.
No. He's a very humble kind of guy. So.
Well, we used to, my business, I worked for a company, and we were right on railroad.
Yeah.
Railroad. So we would close the store, and then we kept tables and benches on the roof. And so all the employees and their kids and everything would go up the roof and watch the parade.
Uh-huh.
And, of course, it was so large and so many people. I just read where they used to say there was 30,000 people came into town, and I think 30,000 people in Shelton is a lot of people.
That is a lot of people.
And then, of course, the old parade route went all the way down to First and came back Coda. And all of the establishments around Coda would empty out. And so it was a great area to go through.
Do you know the car you're going to be in?
Am I sorry?
The car that you're going to be riding in?
I have no idea.
You know?
They haven't told us yet.
Oh, so maybe you're walking.
I have been told that I'm going to be given a shovel and follow some
the
of
horses.
The horses.
Follow the horses, but
Well.
then, that could be too.
It's going to be a great parade right down Railroad, and it is starting at 11 o'clock on Saturday. Before that is the Kid and Pet Parade. So you're going to be at the front of the parade. Right near the front. We'll have the color guard and things like that and get you in there. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think so. Do you have any special memories from Forest Festivals other than being on the roof and watching the parade?
No, I just think that it's a great tradition. And I was just reading in their information that at one time somebody that was in the competition said the Shelton was the #1 place to be as far as the loggers competition was concerned. And that's a great honor because there's some great ones up and down the coast.
Oh, yeah.
But to have Shelton #1 I thought was true. And we should be real happy with our traditions.
I would say so. 72 years. We are Timber Strong, the theme this year. We had just talked with Mick about the logging show that's coming up right after the parade. It's going to be another big event. So this is a lot of fun and good times. People love parades. People love celebrating the community. Some probably 10, 15,000 folks will be there on Saturday watching, right? All eyes on you.
Thanks a lot.
No pressure.
No pressure.
So thank you so much. I'm sure you have other duties as Grand Marshal you need to go take care of.
Oh, they keep telling me things.
Just making sure you show up at this place at this time and this place at this time.
Other duties as a sign.
As a sign. Ron Pinnell, Don Pinnell, thank you so much for coming in today and talking about the parade. We'll see you guys on Saturday.
We'll be there.
8:13.
Road to the White House.
He is trying to scam America the way he scammed all those people at Trump U.
Hillary Clinton in Newark, New Jersey, which holds its primary next Tuesday. The now defunct Trump University, the subject of a lawsuit. Court documents providing insight into the school's sales pitches to prospective students. The Trump campaign put out a video defending the school, including testimonials from former students. Mrs. Clinton heading for California, which also holds its primary next Tuesday. Donald Trump is already there and on the attack in Sacramento.
She's one of the worst secretaries of state in the history of our country. Now she wants to be our president. Look, I'll be honest. She has no natural talent to be president. This is not a president.
Bernie Sanders is also in California, but Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid says it's time for Sanders to face reality. Next week's primary is expected to propel Mrs. Clinton to the Democratic nomination. Richard Cantu, ABC News.
Ascend Roofing Company in Shelton's on top of it. 868-2730. Roofing work that speaks for itself.
Just a note to express our appreciation for restoring our faith in a handshake. You did what you said you would, and that's all anyone can expect.
We truly appreciate the work that was done. And your son Ryan is a wonderful representative of your company. Thank you again for making the gutters clean and our roof moss resistant.
You could be the next happy customer by calling Ascend Roofing. 868-2730.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
A familiar name.
The one constant in this world is change. Continuing and inevitable. Things here in Mason County are about to change for the better. iFiber Communications is now a proud service provider for Mason County PUD 3. iFiber Communications is now offering high-speed internet in Mason County. Next-generation ISP services to your home and business. Next-generation internet. 100 megabit per second speed to your home. Next-generation television. High-definition television unlike anything you've ever seen before. Next-generation telephone. Never get a long-distance bill again. iFiber Communications is so much more than just an ISP. We're part of the story that is yet to be told here in Mason County. Change is here. iFiber Communications. To find out more, stop by our offices, 3rd and Coda, or call 427-4000 or find us at iFiber.tv.
816 iFiber One News Radio, and a good morning to you. We're continuing our great conversations here on Daybreak, and this morning now we have Julie Horowitz, Shellfish Policy Advisor, Governor Inslee's Shellfish Advisor, and also Bill Dewey from Taylor Shellfish, and we're talking shellfish this morning. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good to see you back on the air here, and Washington Shellfish Week kicks off on June 4th, and that's what we're talking about today. Big deal here in the great state of Washington.
It is. We're very excited about Shellfish Week. So back in January, when the governor launched the second phase of the Washington Shellfish Initiative, he proclaimed June 4th to 11th Washington Shellfish Week, which is really exciting, and it's some of our first daytime low tides, so a great time for folks to get out on the water and dig some shellfish.
People are able to do this all around the great state of Washington. We just got wrapped up with some razor clam digs out on the ocean, and then the shellfish things. There was the stuff up near Lilywop a couple weeks ago, and so people are getting out there and they're enjoying the shellfish here in Washington. Do we eat a lot of shellfish? Do Washingtonians eat a lot of shellfish?
We do. I mean, Washington is a shellfish mecca. We're the largest producer of farm shellfish in the country. But then from a recreational harvest standpoint, I mean, it's part of our culture and heritage here in the state. People get excited about shellfish. You mentioned the razor clam digs. You know, tens of thousands of people out there on the coastal beaches digging the razor clams, and in the Puget Sound here, you know, Hood Canal has got some of the best shellfishing in the state. All of our South Sound inlets, you know, it's Mason County is, you know, it's like ground zero for shellfish.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of fun things planned here for Shellfish Week to help people get excited about it.
I was just going to say, what are some of the plans that you guys have for this week that's coming up?
Yeah, well, Julie can maybe talk about some of the broader state things going on, but Taylor's obviously, you know, we're a big player in the shellfish world here, and have a lot of different facilities. Are excited to showcase some of those for people. So, you know, of course, everyone knows Sin here in town. She'll be out at Washington State Parks, has a shellfest out at Westport, at the Westport Light State Park next Saturday, and Sin will be cooking her fare out there, and the proceeds from that go to the Parks Foundation. But then we've got a seed sale next Saturday as well up at our Samish Bay Farm, a tour of the Samish Farm, some cooking demonstrations. All next week we have 3 oyster bars in downtown Seattle, so we're going to be doing oyster shucking classes at the oyster bars. And then next weekend, the following weekend on June 11th, 3 different activities going on. So we have out at Willapa Bay, we have a seed setting facility out there. We'll be doing tours and open house and barbecue there. At our hatchery up in Daybreak Bay on the Hood Canal, another open house up there. And then at our processing plant here in Shelton, we'll have an open house and tours, and Sin will be cooking again there and showing people how to cook clams. So lots of fun activities from Taylor's for the week. So we're excited about it.
If somebody wanted to plant some seed, or however you want to call it, Does it come with directions, or do you really have to know what you're doing?
No, you don't have to know what you're doing at all. I mean, we have our farmers on site talking to you about it. We have information on the website. We have a number of seed sales throughout the summer, and on our website we have a link and information on the website about how to, and then our farmers are there at the seed sale explaining to people. So if you have a beach out in front of your house and you want to start a shellfish garden, come see us. We're happy to help hook you up.
And those seed sales get pretty packed.
Oh, it's crazy. They are so popular. The ones we have here in Shelton, on a Saturday morning between 8 and noon, we'll have hundreds of people show up. It's really a lot of fun. People get excited about it.
Well, we'll make sure we remind folks throughout next week. Julie, what's going on for statewide for shellfish activities?
Yeah, all kinds of great things. So as Bill was saying, there's Shell Fest coming up at Westport Light. That's Saturday from 11 to 3. And then there's an event at the Ken Chu Shellfish Research and Restoration Lab, and that's a native shellfish restoration hatchery that's out in Manchester. And they're also doing an open house this Saturday from 11 to 2, so you can just run from one shellfish event to another.
That's a brand new facility that got built after 2011 when Governor Gregoire launched the Shellfish Initiative. It's a really cool restoration hatchery doing native oyster seed, abalone seed, and stuff. So a fun place to visit if people have the opportunity.
Manchester? Where's that?
Up on Bainbridge Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Port Orchard. And then the Pacific Coast Shellfish Growers Association is also doing an event at the South Sound Estuarium where folks can go on next Monday afternoon and check out shellfish tanks and learn what they look like when they're filtering the water and all that cool stuff. And something that's not, an activity, but a great resource for folks, Department of Health and Department of Fish and Wildlife, post information about recreational shellfish harvest. And they're working on a combined website so folks can go to just one place to find out, is the beach open? Is it, can they harvest there? And all of those things that you need to know before you go out and dig shellfish. So that's a great resource that's coming online.
So we talk a lot about just individual people that go out and perhaps make their own oyster beds, but what's the economy like, the shellfish economy in Washington? Where would that rank compared to other industries in the state?
Obviously compared to the Boeings and the Microsoft, it's pretty insignificant in the grander scheme of state economy.
Yeah.
But for rural western Washington, it's huge. So here in Mason County, it's the second largest private employer here in the county. Out in Pacific County, out on the coast, it's the largest private employer. So, and that's just the shellfish aquaculture industry. That doesn't include all the tourism and all the jobs that are created by tourism as people come to our counties to harvest the shellfish and so on. So it's, for the rural parts of the state, it's a big deal.
It's amazing when I'm out away from Washington. I remember being down like in San Francisco or Southern California and going to restaurants and seeing on the menu Taylor shellfish oysters or Washington grown oysters, and it is they go all over the country, all over the world.
And I think that's a really key piece, right, is the export market really brings the Washington name and respect for the great Washington product all around the world, which is unique and pretty special.
And from an economy standpoint, it's good as well, because when that product gets shipped out of state, that money comes back into Washington state. So unlike service jobs and the service economy that turn your dollars just over and over in the local economy, these are bringing new dollars in from outside the country and outside the state. So.
How's the water pollution levels these days for shellfish? I know we had some problems in Oakland Bay a couple years ago, but those seem to be taken care of. The rest of the waterways in Washington, plenty of open times for growing?
Well, it's an area, this is one of the areas that Julie really focuses on. Maybe she should comment on it instead of me, but it's, I serve on the Puget Sound Partnership for the state, and it's one of the areas. They have a target of upgrading 10,800 acres of degraded shellfish areas by 2020. And it's one of the areas the Puget Sound Partnership's actually making some really good progress. The state has had a huge commitment to this. The Governor Inslee, a big commitment to upgrading these shellfish areas, and we're making progress. It's the general trend is in the right direction. We lose some areas, but we gain more. And,
good.
So the general trend with the focus that the state has put on it and the federal government's put on it is that we're doing well.
Yeah?
Yeah, we are. We're making progress, and we're, Washington is sort of unique in that we're really actively trying to open more shellfish areas. And a key piece is also keeping the areas open that are open, right? And so in terms of Oakland Bay and other places around Hood Canal and Mason County, the key is everyone continuing to, make sure their septic systems are checked and make sure their stormwater is clean and all of those things, because that's how we do it, right? It takes the whole community.
And events like Shellfish Week help, as people get excited and have positive experiences around the shellfish, and then we can educate them about the need for water quality while they're having fun. They're more inclined to help us keep it that way.
What is it about Washington State? Is it that the open through the strait comes from the ocean, or what is it unique, about Washington State that allows for such great shellfish?
Shellfish, yeah. Well, that's a good point. It's definitely a unique body of water, the oceanography and all the nutrients that come into Puget Sound. It's an ideal growing area. Lots of good tidelands, the big tidal exchange. So we have big beaches that are exposed where other parts of the country don't have those huge tidal exchanges, and big flats that are exposed at low tide. That makes it kind of unique. And then Washington, since we became a state, the laws have tried to promote shellfish aquaculture. We passed laws right after we became a state to encourage that, and that's why we lead the country today in farm shellfish production. So.
Oh, very interesting.
And, it's been part of Washington history for a very long time, right? Since statehood, but even before that, tribes have been harvesting shellfish here for thousands of years, right? Yeah. It's part of the ecosystem, and they grow, they just grow really well here.
Lots of multi-generation families that grow shellfish here in the state that are part of the farming industry. Taylor started in 1890, but, we're not the oldest. There's other companies that have been doing this equally as long. So.
Shellfish Week kicks off on June 4th. That's this Saturday. And one of the first big events is going to be at the Westport Light State Park. Zin's going to be out there for Shellfest, 11:30 to 1. And additionally, up at the Samish Bay, that's just outside of Bellingham, right near.
Yeah, just south of Bellingham on Chuckanut Drive up there.
Oh, beautiful area.
Yeah,
up there.
Real nice area.
So you can go up to the Shellfish Seed Sale, get out of town if you wish, from 8 to 11 this Saturday. Or there's going to be some things happening around locally as well. We'll get these listed on our website. Julie Horowitz and Bill Dewey, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having us on.
We've got the latest in local news coming up next.
ABC Entertainment News. Here's Jason Nathanson.
One of music's biggest power couples has called it quits.
I go on too many dates, but I can't make them stay.
Taylor Swift and superstar DJ producer Calvin Harris are no longer together. They've been dating a little over a year. As for what happened, we'll probably find out when she releases her next album. A director who recently slammed actress Keira Knightley has apologized.
I think everything's changed.
Begin Again director John Carney trashed his star in a recent interview, saying the Oscar nominee lacked honesty and self-analysis in her acting, and referring to her said he never wanted to work with supermodels again. Many rushed to her defense, and Carney took a lot of heat. Now he tweets that he's a complete idiot. He's ashamed he said such mean and hurtful things, and there's no justification for it. Looks like we have a front-runner to play Captain Marvel.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Oscar winner Brie Larson is in talks to play one of Marvel's top female superheroes, according to Variety. The film's due out in 2019. I'm Jason Nathanson.
It's not until you've taken the last bite, till the last whiffs of freshly baked pizza have faded from the kitchen, till they've talked about their day with actual complete sentences. It's not until then that you realize, yay, we just had a family dinner. Fill your table with conversation and the most popular home-baked Papa Murphy's pizza. Bring home a large Papa Murphy's signature cowboy pizza, just $11. Fresh made, fresh baked. Papa Murphy's. Love at 425 degrees.
827 at iFiber1 News Radio. We're on the phone line with the morning stock numbers. Good morning. Good morning, the morning stock numbers.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, Karen. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Getting ready for that run on Saturday.
You're going to do the run?
Well, no. Oh, heavens, no. Oh. I'm going to help. I'm going to be on the bus. I'm going to be the bus hostess.
Wait a second.
I know. I'm helping with the guild. No. I don't.
Okay.
No. Not this year. Maybe next year.
Well, then maybe we'll see you around after that for the big parade.
Yeah. So we have a couple spots open. So if people still want to register, they still can at the day of race.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
What's going on with Wall Street?
Well, U.S. stocks are slightly lower in early trading as oil prices slip, while data signaling that job gains remain steady support the case for higher interest rates. In economic news, initial jobless claims last week were lower than anticipated, while continuing claims edged higher. In a separate report, newly released federal figures showed U.S. births declined and the death rate rose last year, a sign of continuing pressure on the country's population growth. Bond prices are higher in early trading. So far this morning, the S&P 500 500. The best performing sector is healthcare, while the worst performing sector is utilities. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 18 points at 17,770. The Standard & Poor's 500 Index is down 5 points at 2,093, and the NASDAQ Composite Index is down 1 point at 4,950. This morning, volume on the New York Stock Exchange is moderate, with 212 million shares being traded, and decliners are outnumbering advancers by roughly 3 to 2 margin. In the commodity markets, the spot price of gold is down $2.68 to $1,210.31. The spot price of silver is even at $15.96, and crude oil prices are down 74 cents to $48.27. And the bond market's 30-year Treasury yield is currently 2.58%, and the 10-year Treasury yield is 1.81%. Stocks of local interest: Amazon is up $1.17, Costco is down $2.76, Boeing is down 23 cents, Starbucks is down 22 cents, and Microsoft is down 62 cents. This is Karen Shade of Edward Jones, member SIPC, serving individual investors with personalized attention and long-term financial advice. I'm located at 1051 Southeast State Route 3 in Shelton, and if you'd like additional information, you can contact me at 426-4590, and daily commentary is also located on our website at edwardjones.com.
All right, Karen, we'll see you this Saturday and talk to you tomorrow, too. 8:30 at iFiber One News Radio.
From the iFiber One News Radio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. There's some service changes that will go into effect on Monday for Mason Transit customers. Route 5 and Route 7, which are the local loops in the Shelton area, are being rerouted to better serve customers. The biggest impact is for Route 4, which is the Belfair local. MTA has removed the Belfair post office as a time point. It's now a call request stop, meaning riders can request this as a deviation by calling the customer service center 2 hours ahead of schedule. Visit masontransit.org and click on rider alerts for full details. The Forest Festival Parade on Saturday could have an impact on bus arrival times. Christina Fremont with MTA told Daybreak about that.
So during the parade that we'll be in, the Transit Community Center is closed as a bus stop.
Okay.
Because that's the parade route.
Big stage.
Hey, you can go over there and sit on the sidewalk and watch the parade from the Transit Community Center. Get there early. People like to set up their chairs right away. So our bus stop for folks that are using the service is just going to be 1 block over on Cedar in front of Safeway. So same thing. All the buses, none of the times are changing, other than they might be impacted slightly just because of heavier traffic coming into town due to the events.
In addition, all of Mason Transit's routes are rerouted off of Railroad and just 1 block over. Watch for Christina handing out candy during the parade on Saturday. The theme of the 72nd Annual Forest Festival is We Are Timber Strong. The event is capped by the June 4th Paul Bunyan Grand Parade through downtown Shelton. Many other Forest Festival activities are scheduled today through Sunday. For more information, see masoncountyforestfestival.org or visit the Forest Festival Facebook page, facebook.com/Mason County Forest Festival. Olympic National Park staff is urging all boaters to stay away from the section of river that flows through the former Elwood Dam site. The site is located between U.S. Highway 101 and State Highway 112 outside of the Olympic National Park boundary. Remnants of the dam's foundation remain in that area of the river and include long pieces of rebar and other metal shards that extend close to the water surface. Boulders and swift currents in the area compound the risks, and boaters are urged to avoid this section of the river. Olympic National Park Superintendent Sarah Creechbaum says the risk of snagging a boat on the remaining metal is high and presents a very real danger to boaters and swimmers. The park is working with the Army Corps of Engineers to develop a plan for removing the metal during this summer's low river flows. Until then, boaters, tubers, and swimmers are urged to avoid this section of river through the old Elwood Dam site. For iFiber One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
Truck Month continues for the month of May at family-owned Gillis Auto Center in Shelton with our entire truck inventory discounted for this event. Dodge Ram, built Ram tough with huge rebates and a great selection. Just know this, we're out to make May our biggest month ever, and to do it, we absolutely refuse to be undersold. Biggest discounts and great interest rates at the all-new Gillis Auto Center in Shelton at the City Center Matlock exit and 24/7 at GillisAutoCenter.com.
Penguins take control. Hi, everybody. I'm Brian Clark reporting on sports. The Pittsburgh Penguins had a 1-0 series lead over the San Jose Sharks in the Stanley Cup final and led 1-0 in Game 2 thanks to a Phil Kessel goal in the second period. But San Jose's Justin Braun found the back of the net for the first time in the playoffs late in the third to tie the game and send it to overtime. In OT, it was a Penguins rookie who stole the show.
Here's Letang after the faceoff, and the Penguins have it. Goes over down, a quick shot, score, and Sheary with a goal. He wins it for the Penguins. Connor Sheary from the left wing circle side shoots it in right by Jones, and the Penguins have won it.
Mike Lang on the Penguins radio network. Connor Sheary's fourth goal of the playoffs gave the Penguins a 2-1 victory and a 2-0 series lead in the Stanley Cup final. Game 3 on Saturday at 8 Eastern in San Jose. On the diamond, another big night for Mookie Betts.
Mike Wright ready. Here's the windup, the 3-2 pitch. And he swings it. It's a high drive to left. This is deep. Kim back to the wall. Looking up. Jumps. Home run. He did it again.
Joe Castiglione with the call on WEEI. Betts has 5 home runs in the past 2 games and became the first player in MLB history to hit home runs in the first and second innings on back-to-back nights. The Red Sox actually hit 5 home runs as a team, but ended up falling to the Baltimore Orioles 13-9. On the course, the PGA Tour announced that the World Golf Championship event held at Trump National Doral, Miami, will move to Mexico City beginning next year. ABC's Brad Milkey with more.
The Trump National Doral Golf Course has hosted a star-studded PGA tournament for the last 54 years. Scott is 2 for 2 in Florida. But the event's outgoing chairman tells the Miami Herald it's moving to Mexico City. The tournament was unable to find a sponsor after Cadillac decided not to renew its contract. The company and the PGA itself have distanced themselves from Trump since he launched his campaign with remarks about Mexican immigrants. Trump criticized the move, saying, quote, "I hope they have kidnapping insurance."
Brian Clark, ABC Sports.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
A familiar name will be back on the football field this fall at North Mason High School. Legendary football coach Phil Pugh has come out of retirement to be the head coach of the Bulldogs once again. Pugh previously coached North Mason for 27 years, including a state championship in 1982. Seattle native and 2-time Cy Young Award winner Tim Lincecum is back pitching in the Northwest. Lincecum signed with the Los Angeles Angels 2 weeks ago. He will make his first start for the Angels AAA affiliate tonight in Tacoma. First pitch for the Rainiers and Bees is set for 7:05 at Cheney Stadium. The Seattle Sounders scored 2 goals in the final 11 minutes on their way to a 2-0 victory over DC United. Jordan Morris scored in the 79th minute and Jovan Jones scored in the 83rd. The Sounders will look for their second road win in a row when they face off against the New York Red Bulls June 16th. James Paxton had a rough night as the Mariners fell to the San Diego Padres 14-6. Will Myers was 3 for 4 at the plate with a home run and 3 RBIs. The Mariners will look for a bounce-back win tonight with Wade Miley set to start. Pre-game is live on iFiberone News Radio at 5 p.m. First pitch at 6:10. For iFiberone News Radio, I'm Sean Wells.
Jason's one.
It's 8:37 at iFiberone News Radio, and a good morning to you. Daybreak, Jeff and Carol here on a beautiful weekend coming up.
What, you don't think cloudy and 55 is very nice?
It was pretty nice, actually, when last night it started raining, and I said...
It's so warm out.
It was muggy, Muggsville, but I was going, I got to go out and water. And then the rain started, so that was kind of a bonus.
There's not near enough rain to water.
No, not in the slightest. 82 tomorrow, 89 on Saturday, 95 degrees on Sunday. Woo!
Wait, what?
95 degrees on Sunday.
Wow.
Woo! Right now it's 55.
Now, from the iFiberone News Radio studios, it's Daybreak.
providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
And good morning to you. Daybreak, iFiberone News Radio. Jeff and Carol here, and Jason Dose coming in a few moments here on Daybreak. Talk about Sierra Pacific, give us an update on what's going on with them, and looking at some news notes from around the Northwest. This weekend is packed, full of events. We were just talking with Julie Horowitz and Bill Dewey about Shellfish Week. There's some huge events going on all throughout the state over the next couple days. So that's one of the things. Today at 10 o'clock, we are celebrating the opening, or the grand opening, I should say, of the Big Creek Campground. Been closed for about 3 years or so. They added more walking trails, fire rings, larger RV parking spaces. They got power and water up there now. So that's today at 10 up at the Big Creek Campground. Don't want to forget about that one. Forest Festival going on in earnest today at 4 o'clock with the carnival getting underway. Then Sunday morning before, let me get the schedule here. Tell us about Sunday morning, Carol.
Well, besides just the Forest Festival, there's going to be the Fishing Derby for kids at camp at Panhandle Lake. It's the first annual Panhandle Lake Fishing Derby for kids, so you can show up about 8 o'clock. That's when the derby starts. Prizes are going to be awarded around 12:30, so you fish, and then you can, when you get your fish, you can clean it, and there's ice available to ice the fish. Hot drinks, breakfast snacks are going to be available. And it's along with the fishing derby, the camp at Panhandle Lake is holding its inaugural Panhandle Lake alumni picnic. So fishing families are welcome to partake in the picnic. Includes Linda's famous Panhandle burger, potato salad, and beverage. And so that's just all. You can spend a lot of fun out there, and then you can come back into town. And I think the car show.
That's what I was just making sure. That 10
happening.
o'clock is the car show. So you go out there, fish for an hour or two.
Yeah, come back, watch, look at the cars. The cars are going to last. They're going to start at 10. It's going to last.
That's true. You don't have to be there
through the afternoon, and it's going to be hot. It's going to be super hot. There's a low ridge coming in. It's going to be over the weekend. Don't jump into the waters.
A low ridge? Low pressure? Are you talking weather here?
I am talking a warm ridge of high pressure.
Oh, well.
Whatever. Did I say I was a real weather person?
No, you didn't. That's why I was surprised
by
your...
Warm ridge of high pressure.
I like it.
So,
I was kind of taking a look.
Call it a low ridge if you want.
I was
Anyways,
just kind of looking at Sunday, and so normally, 5 or so is when it gets hottest, 95. So if we're looking at an 8 a.m. fishing start, going to be about 65, maybe near 70.
Yeah.
And that's again at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
841, iFiberone News Radio. Good morning to you. Daybreak here. Check out all of our interviews that we had today on the Daybreak page right after we get done with the show. There's been some great conversations throughout the morning here today. Also want to let you know that the next EDC Roundtable is coming up. Starts in about 20 minutes at the Eleanor Room at Mason General Hospital. Healthcare is the topic, and the EDC has been doing these industry roundtables after the community identified 7 industries that they want to see grown, supported, and healthcare is one of them. During Hospital Week, we had many folks on from Mason General Hospital, family of clinics, and they're doing some great work. This is where this next meeting is going to be at 9 at the Eleanor Room at Mason General Hospital.
That's right. And also tonight, Shelton School District Superintendent Alex Apolso wants the parents and members of the community to come to an open community forum. That's tonight, 6 to 7 at the Olympic Middle School Commons. And the topic of the forum is going to be grade level configuration. They're talking about what grades they're going to have for your school year, K through 5 or K through 4, and then a 5 and a 6, a 6, 7. And then maybe a 9 through 12. Those are all up for discussion, and everybody is welcome that has a kid in the school system that wants to participate. It's at 6 to 7 at the Olympic Middle School. It is tonight.
Okay. 8:42 here at iFiberone News Radio. Jason Dose is coming up after a report filed by Jeff Chu, our news director.
I just like shooting. Like being able to pull a trigger, put a hole through a paper. It's fun.
That's Marissa Newby, Shelton High School's top shooter on the shooting team. She helped the team win nationals. The team in March competed at home with each shooter firing 30 rounds at Mason County Sportsmen's Association range. Alan Bragg, Shelton High School shooting team head coach and on the board for Mason County Sportsmen's Association, says he was pleasantly surprised when the national results came in.
I figured maybe second, maybe probably third, you know. And when I got the notification in the mail that they came in first nationwide on this post, and this post has been running for 9 years at that point, we got first place. And they were just ecstatic about it.
The competition took place out of the Stockbridge, Georgia postal match. Bragg says the program has grown in the years he has been with it from 8 to 18 today.
Well, this program is everything that's involved in the Olympics. You got people that's shooting this in the Olympics and stuff like that. And again, in the Olympics, you take a look at the shooting program out there. There are 10 events that are strictly for precision shooting.
Bill Ziegler, who volunteered to coach the team, says he had little experience as a firearms instructor, but he took an online course in civilian marksmanship that qualified him. He explained what is taught to students.
One of them is the safety aspect, of course. There's a lot of specifics that we go over constantly, and the kids, learn by experience with us and learn from being around other kids who are older who practice safe practices. And secondly, I think, from my perspective, kids learn discipline from the shooting skills. They learn things that are very common to shooting of all kinds of firearms. For example, breathing, finger control, eye focusing.
Bragg talked about the gun range located at the Port of Shelton's Industrial Park.
This is the facility that we have here. Mason County Sportsmen's donate the time and the days for the kids to shoot. We shoot up here Monday through Thursday because I work with the school schedule because Fridays, there's sometimes in school, not in school, so I decided to do it Tuesday through Thursday. And they're out here shooting 22 rifles and gallery air rifle.
Newby is a Shelton senior involved in far more than the shooting team at the high school.
Yeah, I'm in the marching band, I'm on the drill team, I do color guard for ROTC, and I do this.
Her teammates, Riley Peters and Anthony Fosher, also talked about their love of shooting.
I try to keep the bullets so that they're about a pinkish width together, like at most, that's how far it's okay being away from each other. And then after that, we start sighting them in and shooting straight.
It's the feeling of that we win and we all work together to get the achievable win.
You could say the students on the Shelton High School shooting team are getting a real bang out of what they do here at the Mason County Sportsmen's Association range. I'm Jeff Chu for iFiberone News.
Thanks, Jeff. You can watch that story at iFiberOneNewsRadio.com. It's 8:46, and we have on the air with us right now Senior Planner for the City of Shelton, Jason Dose.
Good morning.
How you doing, Jace?
I'm doing excellent.
It's been a while since we've seen you here on the Daybreak program.
It has. They're keeping a short leash on me. They keep me far away from the public.
Because they listened to your last shows on the Daybreak program.
Like, ruh-roh.
All right, so Jason's here today. We're going to get an update on Sierra Pacific, but also we need to get some clarification here because we were talking just off the air about the fire at the old Hotel Cameron there at 2nd and Grove. Burnt down 2 weeks ago, something like that. It'll be 2 weekends ago.
Was it that long ago? Good Lord, time flies.
So basically what we're, in the story that we talked about, we mentioned that this was on the list. This was one of 2 buildings that were like the, what is it? The poster child.
Children.
Okay, good.
Oh, yes.
The poster children for neglected whatevers.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I've been here for 10 years. I was on the air the morning that the bowling alley burned down. And you mentioned the bowling alley in your story. But that's not what I'm thinking about.
It's absolutely, and as I had mentioned when we were discussing, maybe I've been here too long. I'm now referring to these buildings like, it's by the old red barn that used to be there that was by Skip's old, whatever. This is the big wooden structure that's kind of across First Street from the fire station, in between Domino's and Happy Garden.
Okay.
It's the old bowling alley. That thing used to be the bowling alley in town. A lot of people don't know that, but it's one of the things I've learned. But that is probably number one.
Now number one.
Now number one. It was a close first or second between that and the brick building over there. And it is unfortunate that building came down, but it's all on the owner. I mean, in my humble opinion, the owner absolutely neglected that building.
You find that guy yet?
I believe the police chief was able to speak with him. I left several messages. I know the fire chief did, and
not until the chief of police calls. That's when the phone call.
I heard that through the grapevine. I still have not heard from the owner.
Do you know the owner of this Red Barn building?
Yeah, and to my knowledge, they've been cooperative in the sense that they agree. I mean, that is what's best for the building, but it is quite an expensive demolition. So that's the struggle right now. We're working with them, trying to figure out a equitable way to deal with the structure. And there's a couple leads, is my understanding. So hopefully this summer we can see something happen with that, because it really, the fire at that brick building, to me, kind of raises some alarms with that building, because at least the brick building was a standalone structure, and no structures in real close proximity. Not the same story with that wooden structure there. It's literally built right up to the walls of adjacent structures. So that is a concern.
Huh. You're actually on the air today to talk about Sierra Pacific.
That's right. We are, I've been working on that one since last summer. You know, we issued a SEPA determination for demolition of most of the standing structures out there. And then we did a SEPA, State Environmental Policy Act. It's the environmental review, required at the state level prior to doing land use permitting and building permitting. We did the SEPA for the construction of new structures late in the year, or maybe around Christmas-ish, Thanksgiving, Christmas. We did the first step in land use permitting earlier this year, site plan review, which got approved. That was reported on. And then we just held the hearing for the final piece, the shoreline permitting portion, a week and a half ago on Monday. So just awaiting the hearings examiner's decision on that. And we look to be moving forward with the new mill. And as far as I know, they are on schedule. So 2017, they're looking to open.
I mean, that's 6 months from now. I get what you're saying, but that's quick.
It is very quick.
I like it.
That's what they're saying. Well, 2017 is a 12-month.
That's true. You're right.
Period. I didn't say January 1st.
And you have to be careful what you say, because you will be quoted, such as poster child of...
It is the poster child. You can quote me on that. You can put my face next to it.
Did I hear the pilings going in yesterday when I was walking around? Those are still going around?
They've been going in for probably a good month or so now, and that's just in prep for the foundation and for the equipment foundations that go in. And then the building kind of goes up around that. So it's quite an amazing construction process. I mean, it's an industrial facility.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun to watch. I've been out there a couple times, looking at a few things as we move through the process, and it is. I don't know how to describe it, but I mean, it's impressive. There's a lot of moving pieces, and they all kind of move in parallel on different tracks. Like they've literally got their machine shop up, and it's the former Simpson machine shop, up and running, literally building mill parts. I mean, they fabricate a lot of their own mill parts. I mean, I don't know too much to the savvy mill operator. I'll sound kind of silly, but they're literally making like their log carriers and handlers and all this stuff that's going to be ferrying lumber through the mill, and they do it right there.
And it's on site already, so you don't have to travel in.
And my understanding is they've actually brought on a few of the graduates of the Shelton College welding program, because they work in CNC machining and welding and all this stuff, and so it seems like a viable avenue for a few people that go through the local program to get some work.
Our news director did a video on that welding program. Pretty sharp. Pretty cool stuff.
It is. I had a friend I used to surf with way back in the 80s, and he was a machine shop teacher, and he was doing the early, what they call CNC machining, you know, with the computerized stuff that carves out different pieces, and that's really come a long way, because I looked at the piece of machinery SPI has out there to do the big mill pieces, and it's nothing like he was using in his high school metal shop, you know. It was just an astronomically bigger version, and it's neat. I mean, I like that stuff.
Well, Jason, you're going to have to come back and talk to us more about the growth of Shelton here in a little while. See some other news coming down the pike. If you got it, come by and talk with us.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we're close to time.
Got a little bit of time.
What's going on?
No, we sometimes often get off track towards these parts of the interview, so I just wanted to make sure that...
Well, there's a lot of paint brushes moving, a lot of hammers swinging. I mean, it's a fairly busy season. And, you know, an unfortunate side effect is we're getting a little backed up on building permits, so that's getting us a few complaints. But it's a good thing as well. I mean, to be backed up on building permits, that means there's building permits coming in. It's bad because growing up, doing retail, it's all about customer service, you know, and when you're not providing the customer service, that's a little frustrating. But we're plugging them through as quick as we can.
How many? Can you tell me how many? Or?
I have no idea how many.
You just
to
know
be
that
honest,
there's
it's just
a lot.
A lot.
Well, that's
my
good.
Official
encouraging.
Assessment. It is.
Encouraging.
I mean, you see it all up and down Coda. You go up Coda Street, the church is doing their big facelift. We've got the old Olson building currently getting a renovation going. Miguel's Las Palmas building, inside and out, got redone. The old Mason Hotel. See, I'm all the old thing next to Phil's old place. At the corner of Front and Railroad, that has a new owner, and he's starting to complete that renovation that kind of... the financing fell through in the late 2000s of one of the previous owners. It kind of has just sat there in a 40% state of renovation since about 2008, 2009. So new owners purchased that, and if you go look at it, it's looking quite nice now. And he hasn't started any of the interior yet, but he's finished a lot of the exterior. So
is that the Webb Hotel building? Is that one?
I don't know if that's
the name of it.
What it's.
Where the old Verns used to be?
I don't know. See, now you're sounding like...
Front and Railroad. I don't know.
So you're talking about all the new business coming in, and you used to be on the show talking about how you would walk to work and you'd pick up litter on your way to work. How's the streets looking?
The same. It's unfortunate. It's a daily occurrence. It is, I walk 1.29 miles, I think, at last read off my Fitbit. And it is a Safeway bag a day. And it varies from, you know, Bud Light guy seems to have slowed down. I don't find as many. And peach schnapps person, that I don't find as many as those either. So clearly they're working on their habit.
I think you're new. Are you new to these characters that Jason runs across? You know them, the peach schnapps?
He's been talking
But I used to find in almost the same places, in almost, you know, the same locations on every day of the week, these Bud Light bottles, and then little peach schnapps, single serve things, you know, and that's slowed down a lot. But it's, you know, I think rock star drinker person has picked up the slack, and
so bottles and cans are the most
bottles,
prevalent.
cans, plastic bags, cigarette butts. I mean, you find car parts, you'd be surprised. Gloves, sunglasses.
Well,
random cell phone now and again that's been crushed by cars going over it. I mean, I think people leave them on their roof. And,
and drive off. Yeah. I've done that before. 8:56. Jason, we're going to wrap it up here. See you at the Forest Festival this weekend, I'm sure.
I'll actually be at a soccer tournament in Redmond.
Whoa, you're going to miss. It's going to be 100,000 degrees outside. It's going to be awesome for you.
I just have to watch. It is my daughter playing.
Oh, good.
I will not be exerting myself to any degree, hopefully.
Jason Doe, Senior Planner for the City of Shelton during this Focus on Shelton, sponsored by our Community Credit Union.
Thank you very much.
Our community is more than just houses and buildings and streets. It's the people who live here, who work here, that make it a community. That also includes the class of 2016. Graduation Matters Shelton and iFiberone News Radio want to congratulate the class of 2016 and encourage each student continued success in their journey as they prepare for life after high school.
This is Kathy. The best way to keep current on local news and issues is by subscribing to the Mason County Journal. The importance of subscribing to the paper hit home when the marijuana businesses started cropping up in local neighborhoods and people called the paper saying they hadn't heard about the zoning changes. I had to inform the callers that this issue had been discussed in the paper for many months, and the best way to know what was happening in their community was to read the local newspaper. As a result, many of them started up a subscription. Call 426-4412 or visit masoncounty.com to start your subscription today.
Aren't you tired of traffic? Sitting in your car for what feels like forever? Wouldn't you rather work where you live? Mason County offers a variety of job openings that you can take advantage of right now. Apply for Support Services Director, Court Clerk, Weed Control Assistant, or a seasonal flagging position. These are all jobs available to you in your hometown right now. So jump on over to Mason County's website and print off an application or two, and then let them know that iFiber1 News Radio referred you.
Hi, I'm Ken Slater, the Roof Doctor. If you're like me, your family's important, so make sure that they're well taken care of. One of the best ways to do that is to provide a safe and warm home to live in. For over 50 years, the Roof Doctor has been helping families stay safe and warm by building roofs that last for generations. Our teams have some of the most experienced roofers in the area, and we only use the highest quality materials to keep your family safe, warm, and dry. That's the Roof Doctor. Give us a call.
8:59, iFiber1 News Radio, Daybreak here. Jeff and Carol wrapping things up on a Thursday. Tomorrow, more great guests coming up. It's Friday. Enjoy the carnival. Kind of getting underway about 4 o'clock today. And we'll see you tomorrow.